Hello, everybody. It's the moment you've been waiting for. Thank you for joining us here tonight at Crypto Talk Now. Glad to be back with you all. Max here to report on some particular news. Some of the news headlines are going to be what, believe it or not, Quant, XRP, XLM, everything you see tagged tonight will be featured on today's show. Yes, even Casper, Jasmy, anything and everything you saw tagged will have news coverage. So glad to see you guys here tonight. Let's kick it in to the comments and welcome a few of our regulars and maybe some newcomers. Glad to see you here tonight. Feeling very enthusiastic about what is going to happen with crypto. Yes, Wednesday's the big day for Powell to come out and so on. But if anything, I have addressed that in a recorded video, which will be out in the morning. But let's recognize the community first. Starting off with who? Well, it's going to be April Cornwell. She says, yo, beautiful peeps. Thank you for being here, April. Good to see you. And she also states, hope you guys had a beautiful day. It snowed here all day. I saw some of your pictures and I had a chance to reply to all of them, but pretty cool. All right. Steve Rose, welcome back. Hey, boys, it's Steve Rose. Quant will be the next Google, especially when Elon Musk changes Twitter to run on Quant. And I bet you anything, Elon is going to start his own coin. Funny you mentioned that. Mike Cornwell, the other member of the Cornwells, right? He sent me a particular discussion, or I should say a particular link to what you're talking about. So it is really, really interesting. But I think, if anything, that conversation that was done with CZ of Binance, so I'm thinking, possibly BNB, obviously Dogecoin, but there was many other different blockchains that could be added to the mix. And I think if anything, Quant could definitely work in the background without people, I guess, not necessarily even knowing it. And again, like, what Gilbert Verdian mentioned, it's all about having it work. Doesn't necessarily, matter if people really know what's behind it, as long as it does its particular job. But thank you for that. Let's kick it in more to a few of the other people are here tonight. And by all means, guys, if you haven't done so already, please hit the like. It does help us get our show out to more people and to a wider range of just that, getting more and more people to join Crypto Talk Now, listen to the content, grow the community, so on and so forth. But thanks for being here tonight. Cash Cats, welcome back. Says hi, April. Hello to Steve. Tim Shea says, hey, welcome back, Tim. And I'm just going to go down and welcome Ryan. Good to see you back. Just trying to find out what news is here. Brian Dowie's in the house. Good to see you, Brian Dowie. And let's see who else is here. Let me see. Brittany is in the house. Good to see you, Brittany. Welcome back. Appreciate you always being here. Crypto Talk Now is Larry. Welcome, everyone. Please hit the like button. Yep, thank you very much, Larry. Got to welcome Boomer effing Sooner. Yes, howdy, folks. Sir Larry. Yes, I'm not Larry, but I'm glad you're welcoming him. And let's see here. Is there anybody else I missed? How about KK is in the house? Look forward to your live shows. Thanks, KK. Look forward to having people like yourself here. Everybody else that normally shows up as well. I understand, there's other shows that are going on, so maybe we'll get some late stragglers. That's okay. And let's see here. We also have Crypto McDizzle, faux shizzle, my nizzle, faux show, who pulls up to Popeyes and says, I need 4 chicken wings fried hard and they're just looking at them like, huh? Anyway, welcome. And let's see. Anybody else? Hey. Yes. Big Watch Dude is in the house. What up, Max, the CTM fan? We're just welcoming a few people, almost 5 minutes into it. Welcome back. Glad to have you here. And let's see who else is up in his house. I'll read the statement. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment we have been waiting for. Wrapped Luna is detached and way more rare now. Ooh, I did see something. Somebody posted about Wrapped Luna earlier about a big announcement, and that's all he said. he didn't have anything else to kind of go with it. So I didn't really share that. But if you got something on it, I'll be more than glad to share that, because I know that's something you've been watching pretty closely for many, many months now. Salamander, the XDC commander, and commander of some other things. Let's be honest about it. Says, hi, good to have you back, Salamander. It'd be nice to get 100 likes. I agree. Coochie Boy, welcome back. Always good to see you, Coochie Boy. And welcome to CTM fam. Yes, very, very much glad to have you guys here tonight. And I'm going to get into this particular one with Brian Downs' comment. Highlight that. Let's kick it right in. But I got welcome GS. And good to see you, GS. Thanks for being here. I'm just going to highlight that. How about that? All right, let's go ahead and kick it into some of our particular news coverage. We have some highlights for you guys. And if anything, I just want to kind of get right into it. So here it is. It's not Quant specifically. It may seem that way. But believe it or not, this comes straight from somebody that you're very familiar with, CEO Larry Fink. This was reported, actually, I think it was on Squawk on the Street. If you ever watch this particular show on cable, I don't have cable anymore, so a lot of times I have to get particular snippets. Anyway, I'm going to share it with you guys. Give me just a second. Here it is, and check this out for yourself. This is something else. Actually, let me say, sorry, let me apologize. I'm going to share it in a way in which you can hear it. My bad. So here it is. It says, I look forward to the day when all stocks and bonds are tokenized. He says this particular quote. We'll get into it. Shout out to this particular person, Top Bricky12, who shared this. CEO Larry Fink from BlackRock, as we know, talking on CNBC just last week. Quant and LCX are the two big names that are going to help achieve this. And I couldn't agree more because of what he mentions with tokenization, right? Let's go ahead and get right into this. This is only 32 seconds, and then we'll be right back.
This is one of the reasons why I'm focusing on the whole idea of blockchain for securities. I look forward to the day when we could tokenize stocks and bonds, that every stock and every bond, we could identify immediately who is the beneficial owner. And this is why we're working on it. And every beneficial owner, from an individual to an institution, have the ability to vote, to democratize every single vote. And that's where we want to take this, and we're leading that effort.
Larry, you know,
Jeez, I mean, look how much they stuttered basically hearing that response, or at least wanting to interrupt them. I mean, you know, whether Larry Fink wants to admit or not, maybe from a tax perspective, in reality, they are the world's largest asset custodian. To hear him say specifically taking, the tokenization of a few of these particular things, putting on, getting involved with blockchain, crypto, all that. You could draw your own conclusion, but for a while now, you have seen him, I would say at least back to October, maybe further back and so on. He's been pretty consistent about a lot of these particular things. And you hear about BlackRock in the news quite a bit. So I don't know. I just thought I'd start things off with that. I want to jump into another particular category, which is Quant, obviously. I want to show you some particular highlights in regards to that. I'm going to go ahead and get into that right now. Shout out to Greg Lunt, who provided this particular info. If you're just joining us here, welcome to Crypto Talk Now. Glad to have you guys here tonight. All we kindly ask you to do is simply smash that like button. I'm going to get into this right now, and that is basically in regards to some of the Quant highlights we have for you. So let's get into it. Shout out again to Greg Lunt. He has some particular statistics here, and this is pretty cool stuff. We track, for instance, whale activity all the time. Doesn't matter if it's Quant, doesn't matter if it's other particular projects. A lot of us, track, for instance, ETH whale activity, especially with Shiba Inu. But how about whale activity with Quant? So it looks like, for instance, Quant is now in the top 10. Listen to this, top 10 most purchased tokens over the last 24 hours by the 100 biggest, I said it earlier, Ethereum whale wallets. Source, got to have the source, right? Whale Stats. You can follow them over at, for instance, at Whale Stats. And let's face it, guys, 206,000 followers. They do it all the time. They track it, you name it. Top 100 whales on Ethereum. And it's pretty interesting to say the least, right? Is something brewing? Something has to be brewing. We talked about this for a while now. Watch what happens with Quant when it comes to this utility run that will kick into what I believe is going to be the real bull run. We get a utility run. I mentioned it, for instance, Quant, XRP, XOM. Those ones stand out for me. Number 4 is definitely XDC, what they provide with the trade sector of the world and so on. But yeah, shout out to Greg for providing this. That was really, really something else. A lot of people are very, very bullish on this, to say the least. Who wouldn't be, right? But yeah, it's really, really cool to see this. And on top of this, before we kick it back into the comments, I want to show you guys this real quick. And is it all just a coincidence? Well, some people feel as though that it could very well be. But if anything, I want you guys to see this because we've been really consistent with showing Gilbert Verdion's particular interviews. This guy is like a mirror image of what Gilbert was stating back at, for instance, Cybos. Remember Cybos event and so on that happened a couple months ago? This guy is literally saying the same thing. It can't be a coincidence. If anything, let's hear it. 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Then we'll come back for some comments. Glad to have you here at Crypto Talk now. It's going to be a great show. So here we go.
If you know of market fragmentation, where you have, again, all of these separated markets, that's the challenge with liquidity, is that you have to go to so many different venues to conduct transactions. In the future, in the not too distant future, you'll see a unified marketplace for any kind of asset.
Hyper-distributed exchanges, not just decentralized, but hyper-distributed, where they work across multiple chains. So atomic swaps are become real at a hyper-internet scale perspective.
Unify because there was only one winner, or unify because you have interoperability? What do you think?
Because of interoperability. It's essential. There can't ever be one solution provider. There shouldn't be one distributed ledger.
Because there's no one blockchain that's going to rule them all. There's no one monopoly that's going to be blockchain for everyone. Everyone needs choice.
One solution provider. The reason is that means the end of innovation.
And you use the different types of blockchains for your user cases, your requirements. And what we're allowing people to do is combine all the different features of blockchain so you get the best of all of them, but also try and find the right blockchain for you. And so you don't know if it's a blockchain A, B, or C. You can use Overledger, try and find the right one, and go with that, and then have the option to move between blockchains as well.
Instead of having to go to a separate marketplace to trade commodities, another one to trade securities, it's all on the same baseline rails. What that means is you can have universal rails for all assets.
So there's no one form of interoperability. It's not a technical thing. An atomic swap isn't interoperability. That's one use case. What we've done is we've created universal interoperability.
Enough to know the early days of Google and what it was like to have search engines.
And we even created a search engine which we cheekily called Google with the logo because I wanted to talk to Google. We put the web on blockchain. And so we actually delivered HTML across multiple blockchains. You can have the web running on blockchain networks.
Google came along and made a simple experience.
Chain-enabled applications with 3 lines of code.
The first 3 assets are tokenized dollars, tokenized fiat, tokenized gold, which is custodied at the HSBC.
Company that was looking to tokenize vaults full of gold into effectively stable coins backed by physical gold.
Literally a mirror image of what he mentioned. I mean, how could you not be excited about what's going on? And for some of the people said, well, there's nobody at the this place isn't a packed house and so on. Come on, some of these particular interviews were from 2019. Not as many people knew about Quant back in 2019. Let's be honest about it. But if anything, it's just, oh my gosh. I mean, when I see this, I think to myself, yeah, 100 plus blockchains, interoperable, currently 15 and growing SDKs. What are SDKs? Software development kits. The payment APIs, the banking APIs, every single turn of the corner, Quant does what it makes and creates that interoperability. And with what they got going on this coming summer in June, These are the reasons why we put out these particular recorded videos, live shows, you name it, because if anything, we have a broader idea of where the real wealth generation comes from. Yes, it's nice to 10x in your particular cryptos. Who wouldn't get excited about that? But as far as developing or getting on board with the generational wealth, these ones stand out. That's the way I look at it. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and stop the share. I'm going to kick it back to the comments. If anything, I want to welcome a few other people who I saw here, which is Mr. Lambo's Crypto Talk. Can you not be excited when somebody drops a Lambo into the conversation? When Lambo? Well, let's face it, guys. I think after we get this utility run, it could be something else for quite a few of you guys. Know what you hold. You were patient this long enough. You just need to be a little bit more patient. I think we all get there. But welcome, Mr. Lambo's. I think I welcomed GS earlier, but nonetheless, welcome back again. Saw some of you guys saying hit the like button. Thank you for that. And glad that you brought up the whole thing, or at least Mike did, about the wrap Luna. So we'll hear a little bit more about that hopefully later. Brian Dowby states, Max, do you know anything about the US debt clock? Yep, we're going to bring that up as well. Believe it or not, on the XRP segment. So you know what? How about this? You're mentioning it right now. We have a decent amount of people right now. It is part of our particular outline, but I highlighted this and it's on you guys' minds. Yes, I'm fully aware of the US debt clock. Shout out to, for instance, the movie The Watchmen, where they mentioned the doomsday clock. It's not the same thing, but it's kind of funny how we have a US debt clock. Not funny, haha. But check this out. Shout out to who? Coach JV, who pointed this out not that long ago, I think like 4 hours ago, in regards to all of this. So let me pull up that particular tab in regards to specifically the US debt clock. I got it right here. Shout out to Coach JV. Let's just go ahead and jump right into that. That's on you guys' minds. Why wait, right? So here we go. And if anything, look at this. Recent reports. Shoot, that's not the particular one. I apologize. Here it is. I'm going to share it again. But yeah, it definitely shows how everything is zero, and that's not a good thing. So shout out again to Coach JV of the 3T Warriors Academy. He stated not that long ago that gold, silver, and oil, listen to this, guys, went to zero on the US debt clock. That's scary stuff, right? Great financial reset continues. We've been outlining for quite a while now about this whole thing with the World Economic Forum. Heck, even Klaus Schwab, I don't think anybody's really a fan of him, but he's been talking about the Great Reset for many, many years, multiple decades, right? I remember my buddy telling me about all this stuff back in the early 2000s. I hate to say it, I didn't take them too serious. I have more than taken all this serious. So look at what you see on the screen before I play this. So you see, for instance, dollar to oil ratio now $0 per barrel. Scary stuff. Dollar to oil ratio back in 1913. Yeah, over 100 years ago, right? $2.20 per barrel. Dollar to silver ratio now $0 per ounce. Dollar to silver ratio back in 1913, which is 110 years ago, $2.66 per ounce. And then on top of that, guys, dollar to gold ratio now zero. What's the consistent thing? 000. Why? Well, since 1971, we have not been on the gold standard. We were taken off of that. So we've been printing over and over this endless money printing machine of the US dollar. And as a result, it's gotten us more and more in debt. And if anything, countries haven't even taken on our particular debt. Enough with me talking about this. Let's hear it from a particular expert, in my opinion, who is Coach JV. This is a minute, and we'll come right back to hear what you guys have to say in the commentary. Here we go.
Well, it's live on TikTok today, and people started telling me to go look at the debt clock. Went to go look at the debt clock, and oil's at zero, silver's at zero, and gold's at zero. Go take a look at the US debt clock. And you won't hear this on the news, but FedNow Services will be linking up with your banks in March. There's a reason why central banks have been stacking gold. There's a reason why the BRICS countries are working to de-dollarize. There's a reason why Ripple is in battle with the SEC. There's a reason why JP Morgan created Onyx, their own cryptocurrency, and JPM coin. There's a reason why Ripple and Bank of America are connected. There's a reason why Wells Fargo is working with R3. There's a reason why Ethereum Enterprises is deep in the banking system. There's a reason why the Hyperledger fabric is about to change everything. Warriors, get your shit together. Love you. Well, it's like,
let's face it, we are all getting our ish together. We're paying close attention to all this. Why? Because we need to. We understand what is literally happening here soon. So yeah, Brian Dowdy, I'm fully aware of it. Scary stuff to say the least. Because when we talked about, for instance, the Great Reset, when you see all that go to zero, guys, I mean, it's like, man, you gotta draw your own conclusion. You heard, for instance, Larry Fink, what he mentioned, numerous particular interviews. You see, for instance, what's outlined here on some of these particular dollar to oil ratios, silver, gold, you name it. It's called connecting the dots. It doesn't take rocket science. So is there wealth that can still be created from all this? You better believe it. If things go to zero, we will accumulate. And I think, if anything, we are in that accumulation phase. But thank you for that, Brian. Let's get more into our particular coverage. Hoover, the FUD killer. Thanks for killing FUD, because there's a lot out there, Hoover. Thanks again for being here. Hit that like. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Mr. Hoover. Jumping further down, you like Quant and the H-Bar, XLM, and Tectonic. Thank you for pointing that out. I think those are all particularly good picks. And if anything, I haven't gotten a Tectonic position yet, but that is one I'm looking to do short term. I'll just state that for the record, not long term. I'm going to go further down. Let me see where we're at. Big Dave is in the house. Welcome back, Big Dave. What's up, gentlemen? Max, great video on the XRP win. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. If anything, let's face it, guys, when we get the official news in regards to all that, I mean, it's going to be amazing to say the least, but it could get drug out through the mud. But I don't know. I think I saw, for instance, when I was on the show, somebody asked Brian Dowie, I think, for instance, Sean was here. There's a few other you guys. I think I saw, for instance, Tim Shea. But you guys had some kind of like back and forth opinions. It was good opinions, like even Sean said, like, I hope I'm wrong. Everyone was like, yeah, no offense, Sean, I hope you're wrong. But and that is regards to this whole thing with XRP, with Ripple, with the lawsuit, the case with the SEC. I'm kind of with you, Brian, when it comes to this. The way I look at it is, I don't think we see the particular email. I don't think they want us, everybody, to see those particular emails. I think they want to save face. And with that said, that's where I feel as though we get a settlement instead of getting this drug through the mud even longer. But who knows? I'm not a fortune teller. I don't know, but we do pay close attention to this. I see we have over 50 people here. Thanks for joining us here at Crypto Talk Now. If this is your first time being here, consider changing your avatar to something about, speaks who you are, what you're about, if you choose to do so. And if you're new to crypto or you've been a seasoned veteran for multiple years, either way, we have a very welcoming community. And me personally, I like to welcome you. So thank you for choosing us tonight for your crypto coverage. All right, let's get further down. Yep, no problem, Dave. I do see, for instance, we have this guy who I haven't seen. I don't think, maybe I've seen him before. Maybe I'm confusing with someone else. Zamir Khan says LAX, and I'd like to welcome you. I don't know if you're at, I was going to say, I thought you were at the LAX airport. I've been there for quite a few times. My goodness. Anyway, LCX. Yep, we'll get into LCX. We have a little bit in regards to that here in a bit. Boomer FS Sewer says, that sounded like Biden. Come on. Hit that like button. It's free. Okay. All right, let's get further down. Want to welcome back Baktron. Welcome Bak. Anyway, bad joke. Hi all, Max, Tim, everybody. Yep, good to see you. And let's see here. Let's see. We got Big Dave says he hates the back button is so close to the send button on iPhones. Well, that's okay. Let me see. You guys getting the algorithm going. Really appreciate that, of course. And let me see where else we got. We got any particular questions? Yep, we're getting excited here. You're so excited, just can't hide. I wish I could sing like that. Hoover, ALBT, Quant's less expensive cousin. I totally agree with that. If you get 100 likes, will Larry buy XRP? Well, you know me. I don't know. You know Larry. I don't know. But that's okay. Let me see here. Mario, what's a realistic long-term price prediction for XRP? A realistic one? All right. I would say at least 4 digits. That's realistic for me. Well, people got way higher than that. People got 5 digits and so on. So I'm gonna say that's realistic. Why? Because of Ripple's on-demand liquidity. If I had to narrow it down to one thing, the on-demand liquidity. All right, let's get further down. But welcome back, Mario. Good to see you here. And consider changing your avatar if you want. You don't have to. Boxtron says STOS. Was that Stratos? 100 max supply, 10 million market cap. Cloud computing, decentralized data storage like Filecoin, but with more utility, not financial advice. Do your own research. We have covered Stratos. Shout out to XXI Gaming, who did very well on it, apparently. Crypto McDizzle. For shizzle, manizzle for show. Lots of funky stuff on debt clock, glitches, gold, and oil price, etc. Something is happening. Yep, it's not just glitches in the matrix, everybody. It's literally right before our eyes from multiple sources. And if anything, I think we're all paying close attention to all of it. Let's get further down. Let's see here. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot 420. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot 420. I have chicken egg seeds for sale. Do you copy? Anyway, that sounds good. Yeah, if with the whole bird flu thing that's happened, my God, I mean, it's like, eggs, $8 a dozen, and if it's on sale at $5, oh, a sale, $5. Wow, give me a break. All right, GS, place low buy orders in case of a crypto glitch like that happens. Hoover the Fuck Killer, Schwab's dad was a NI general, huh? All right. Great financial resets on the way, says Larry. And let's get further down. All right, let's see if we have anything specific. Eat the bugs, Klaus Schwab sticker. 9. Jawohlerburst. Auf Wiedersehen. All right, sorry. All right, Cash Cats states, funny how peeps ignore XRP at 39 cents, but they will buy the crap out of it at $3 to $7 and $10 a coin. Yep, you're right. It's that way with everything. The classic meme of all those people standing in line. It don't matter if it's, let's face it, Bitcoin, Quant, XRP, XLM, you name it. People do not stand in massive lines at these price levels. You think they would, but what happens? It's FOMO across the board when they get to some of these particular milestones. And I think, if anything, after the Ripple wins the SEC case, at least $10 in XRP. Some people have higher, some people want more conservative speaking. I'm just rocking with that. I think $10 at least in XRP. So anyway. I want to welcome back Wes RA. What's the reason? Why is the dollar about to be worthless? Because it is not back to anything at all. It's an endless money printing machine. Think about the time that Satoshi Nakamoto, he wrote the white paper, and then after that, it was still during that time of, for instance, the Great Recession of 2007 to 2009 ish. Bitcoin came out from that particular time, and it's not a hedge against inflation. It was a hedge against money printing. Our dollar is not backed by gold. It hasn't been backed by gold since 1971, and consistently decade after decade after decade, and especially right now. I mean, come on, we were, last I checked, at least $30 trillion in debt. I drive by, for instance, AMC Theaters. Who really owns AMC Theaters? They're supposed to be called, let me look that up. What is this? What's AMC abbreviated for? American what? AMC Theaters. Let me see what that stands for. Let me ask it. What does AMC stand for? Shucks. American Music that's not right. American Multi-Cinema. There you go. But who really owns American Multi-Cinema? Who owns American Multi-Cinema is who? It's the Chinese. They own it. Why? Because we're in so much freaking debt. It's unbelievable. And it's sad to see that they own so much of what our country has to offer. Do you really think that we're going to be able to go to some of these other countries and just own up everything that they have? I don't know. Maybe some of it. I don't want to turn this into a big whole, debate, but yeah, to answer that question, it's just, we're an endless money printing machine. We need to turn things around. And this is, of course, where the debate comes from with this whole great reset. So anyway, thanks for being here again, Wes RA. We always appreciate having you here. Let's go further down. Whiskey, I think I welcomed you, but I want to welcome you again. Getting ready for the GCR/RV. That sounds like fun. Let me go further down. Daniel Delgado's in the house. Daniel, don't call me Carlos Delgado, as Larry would state. Good evening, Max. Good evening to you, Daniel. Always like seeing you here, man. Welcome. All right. Chad Walling is in the house. Smash that like button, folks. Hashtag H-Bar. Well, thanks for being here, Chad. I see you have a Ripple avatar, but that's fine. It shows that you're a fan of both. You're not doing tribalism. That's cool. We will get into a little bit of H-Bar news later on. But if anything, let's see where we're at. Hey, about the ISO 222 compliant DC, right? I don't know what you're specifically abbreviating there with DC, but I'm more than aware of ISO 222 and also the mandate coming up. Cash Cats, I gave my kids H-Bar for Christmas. Well, they'll be thanking you down the road. At least I would be. Anyway, what is 5 digits meaning? Basically speaking, I mean, you got to look at it this way, right? Like Quant, right? We're in the 3 digits, Rand. So that's, roughly the 143, 150. We touched 153 recently. That's 3 digits. So when Quant gets to 4 digits, that's $1,000+ When we get to 5 digits, that's $10,000+ Obviously, when people say, hey, do you make a 6-figure income? That's 6 digits and so on. So no problem. Tab Cunningham states, Max, do you feel like Quant will drop to 130-ish or tomorrow, looking to get 5 or more? I'll state this. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow, but I want to mention this. And, shout out to Tim Shea, quite a few guys. You all base a lot of things on what's going to happen with, like, for instance, the thing with the Fed. Jerome Powell, as Larry would say, rolls out of the cave. He basically gives us the announcement of what's going to happen with the basis points. I'm going to state it. I think it's going to be 25 basis points. That makes sense. But, if we get the news where he feels very positive that there was, like we're winding things down, that's going to be very, very bullish. And again, in the bull run thesis part 5, which is going to air in the morning, it's not that long a video, by the way, compared to some of my other deep dives. I go over some of these specific things. I think we should base everything after that particular event. But if you feel as though Quant could go down to 130, I feel as though that it could, depending on, like if we get bad news where they're like, yeah, we got to keep doing rate hikes. To me, the likes of Quant and a lot of these other ones, let's face it, right? That would cause enough of a crash, But if it's the other way around, then say goodbye to 130. That's just the way I'm looking at it. So I'm holding off on anything more that I get. Some people might say, criticize me and say, well, you should have held off on, H-Bar and some of these other ones. It's fine. If anything, that's what DCing is all about. But yeah, that's just the way I look at it. We'll wait till Wednesday, find out what's going to go on and so on. But if you feel as though that it could go the other way and you've seen enough data. By the way, that video I'm dropping in the morning has just that. I base everything on data, not emotions. Numbers don't have emotions, as Mike Cornwell's outlined. But we'll see what happens on Wednesday. That's only 2 days away. So we'll pay close attention to that. Let's go further down. Who knows? Maybe Larry, early in the day, if the Powell has a conference earlier in the day, I've seen Larry in the past, like he'll do something like a live stream, just focusing on that. But whatever the case be, we'll pay attention. Rayan states, Triple Ace, I'm just kidding with Max. Tim, thanks for you. Well, it's text. How do I know what your emotions are? That's why I hate when people like no offense, like women, they text you. It's like, geez, I don't know what to say about this, especially, girlfriends or never mind. Don't want to go down that road, All right, let's go further down. Let me see. I would retire at $20 in XRP. Nice. All right. Mississippi, McIppy. Am I pronouncing that right? Welcome, by the way. What is your DCA price for Quant? Well, to be honest, I don't really have. For me personally, it's all over the place because Quant is a long-term hold for me. But based on like what some of the other guys were mentioning, like do I see it go down to 130 and stuff like that? Yeah, I could see that happening. As far as Quant dropping to $40, like some people were thinking, I just don't think that happens. Even with a major black swan event, let's be realistic here, right? So we saw FTX, right? That was horrible. Did Quant get down to $40? No, it didn't. I think those days are way past us personally. But if we have multiple black swan events like Tether going, kaput and Binance, then maybe. But I don't have a specific DCA price for Quant. I will state this. How about this? It could possibly go down to the 130 range, maybe 130, 135, depending on what Powell says on Wednesday. I'll just leave it at that. Crypto God Jasmy is looking really jazzy here. Hope you filled your bags with these low prices. Yeah, we do have a particular segment we're going to get into in regards to Jasmy. I do recognize you from the recorded. I know that you're not a big fan of some of the other stuff that we covered, then that's okay. I'd like to welcome you, Crypto God, to our particular show, and glad to see you here. Let's see, Bactron, CTN, best live crypto show on earth. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. That's quite the compliment. Let's get further down, and we have Hoover the Flood Killer. Got my XRP at 39 cents. Cool. I think XRP is different, and buying at $1 would still be good. All sorts of people have come into XRP at all sorts of different levels, and let's face it, when it comes to our cryptos or our ISOs, for instance, for instance, XLM, I originally came in at XLM early in 2021 for way too high, right? And then I bought a decent bag and later on in 2021, I think at 26 cents. And then I doubled my position, like I reported earlier, came in at 8 cents. So, some of these ones just simply make sense, right, at these particular price levels. And there's a lot of it, right? Like I need to get Casper. That is one that's really on my short list. Like that's a must have for me now with some of the recent things that we shared. I should say we shared. More like Mike Cornwell shared it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the magic moment, if you will. Me thinking about getting the Casper. Now I'm really going to get into Casper because if anything, that one it would be a shame if that one just blasted off. And I'm looking at it like, oh man, payday's coming here with the next few days. Casper is definitely one I want to get into, but maybe I just wait right after Wednesday. So I waited this long. Maybe I just wait till Wednesday. I don't know. Let's just read a few more comments. We'll kick it back into the news here in a bit. Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't hit that like, please do so. Let's see if we can get over 60 people here tonight. Would really appreciate it. Zamir Khan, can you please check the score in for me? Baki, I bought it a year ago. Okay, you're talking to somebody else. I don't know if you're talking to me. Market correction. See, Quant 2025 July price will be roughly 50K. The way I look at it, very well could be so. Some people think I'm crazy when I say, for instance, over 100,000 in the future. Some people got higher than me. For instance, I've stated I think it could very well go to $1 million a coin by 2030. People think I'm insane for stating that. I'm basing it on some of the things that we're seeing for the future. Insane market caps, multi-trillion dollars of market caps that we've never seen before. You combine, for instance, the likes of not just Quant, but what XRP is going to have, for instance, with Ripple's on-demand liquidity being fully utilized. You combine that with over 50% crypto adoption, not just with, for instance, the financial sectors of the world, but even with the retail sectors of the world. I'm telling. Here's the thing. I think people just need to stop being, I don't mean no disrespect. I'm not saying you guys specifically, but a lot of people, they have this narrow mindset that when it comes to Ripple's, XRP, that, it's just the SEC or bust. Do you really think the central banks of the world that are not even in the United States, do you think they even give a crap? They don't. We say that multiple times too. They simply don't. And if anything, again, like who was it? John Deaton, who pointed out this will go as high as the Supreme Court. I still think it's going to be a win for Ripple. If for whatever reason it wasn't, what's Brad Garlinghouse and the crew going to do? They're going to take their headquarters to some other country. So it's not the end of Ripple. And if anything, the price could crash in even that much more. And what would we do? I know what I would do. You know, if the price of XRP crashed to like below 10 cents, I know that sounds astronomical. We get Black Swan events and all this crazy stuff happen. I will literally back the freaking truck up. If anything, I might even consider mortgaging the house if it went below 10 cents. I'm not even kidding about that. I would never do that in any other situation, but for the likes of Ripple, yeah. And if anything, we get more doom and gloom about, for instance, exchanges not listing XRP. My thing is, okay, then that means there's going to be more and more demand for this. I know it sounds nuts. That's just the way I personally feel about it. You may feel different. We all got to do what we got to do. All right, let's get further down. I want to read this. China has been buying up the U.S. for years. Very, very true. It's not just the movie theaters and so on. It's quite a few things. Thank you guys for having us tick up to 60. If you just joined us, please hit the like button. That's all we kindly ask. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Yeah, I think this is all part of the plan. And when you hear, for instance, the likes of Larry Fink and some of these other guys, big top elites, if you will, mentioning the same consistent thing, right? It's literally like a broken record at this point. Everybody's singing the same song. No, we're not talking about Sweet Caroline and her nonsense. But when you see the likes of Larry Fink of BlackRock, you see the likes of some of these other top elites, and they're literally, it's saying the same thing. It's like you got to take notice of that. At least I do. Boxtron, I'll read this before we kick it back into the news because we so much for the 5 in and 5 outs. All right. Quant, if all works out, can only be bought in fractions like Bitcoin. That's very true. If not better, when people wake up to utility. Shout out to Rich at Common Sense Crypto. He has mentioned this multiple times in his Quant videos. We will eventually be priced out. Quant, you have to look at Quant just like how you do look at Bitcoin from the perspective that you will eventually be priced out of Quant, especially if you don't own any. Because if anything, they have a significant less circulating supply. So, you know, everybody should make it, again, it's not financial advice, but make it your goal to own at least a full Quant. Here's the thing. Gilbert Verdian was put on the spot. I don't know if it was back in 2019 or 2020, whatever the case be. That doesn't matter. But he has been put on the spot of being asked how much Quant you should own. He mentioned everybody should own at least one Quant. Think about that. Why? Because eventually he knows what's going to happen. And remember that particular video where he's quoted of mentioning, and he even kind of got choked up, like, excuse me, you know, mentioned that where Quant could be. He mentioned trillions. This is from the Quant headmaster himself. So it's going to be massive to say the least. All right, let's get a little bit more further into it. Wayne Sides in the house. Welcome back. Glad to have you here. I'll read this, it's towards Bach. I told people Quant will be buying friction. Yep. All right, let's see here. West states, I bought Quant from listening to you. Only could afford 20 though. LOL. You got me beat. I'm not to 20 yet. So, I mean, we'll have goals. My thing is I just still wanted to diversify with some of these other ones. But once I'm done diversifying, then for me, it's if there's still time to stack, I'm going to stack. And that's just the way I look at it. I might miss out on some of these other ones. I'm still on the fence with Bone and stuff like that. But, I mean, as far as like, not being comfortable with what I have, I am more than comfortable and more than diversified and glad to have done it with some of these particular ones. Today's price won't matter in June of 2025. That's a good point. If you're holding it long term, you know what it's all about, then that's a great statement. Profit, welcome back. Good to see you. They push prices down. Market cipher shows yellow manipulation X's all over the ISOs. A very good point. You guys welcome each other. Watermelon, Crypto Sugar Highs in the house. Good evening, Max and CTM family. Welcome back, Crypto High. And let's see. I'm going to see if I missed anything out on the other screen because I don't want to do that. All right. So, all right. I'm just double checking. Let's see if we got anything like that. Let me go down to here. 20 Quant, 20K to 40. How much? You tell me. Good point. Keegan King, is Medicaid going to make an impact on gaming in the metaverse in years to come? Well, I would make a bad joke about that. I'd be like, yeah, Medicaid is a government service that has absolutely no impact on, for instance, the metaverse. That'd be corny. Anyway, I don't know. I don't have the answer for that particular one. I will just go ahead and get into the news because we have a lot of good problems. I did see, for instance, and I apologize, I didn't mean to skip over everybody. I want to read this real quick. Utility bull run is covering. We talked about that quite a bit. ISO takeover after that. Tim Shea states the foreign exchange trading market cap is $2.4 quadrillion. If and when the monetary system switches to the ISOs, market cap will just skyrocket. I'm with you, buddy. I totally look at it the same way when it comes to that. Steve the Canadian, welcome. For Ish and Giggles, check out his particular show with the Lazy Shaman and Lazy Jedi. Good to see you guys, man. You guys really grind it out, multiple long hours. But yeah, good to see you, Steve. And 0 Point Crypto, Quant, and H-Bar are must. I totally agree. I am so impressed with Dr. Lehman Barrett. I could watch his lectures. I should say for hours on end. But yeah, I mean, I love to hear the man speak. To me, he reminds me of like the Albert Einstein of crypto, or of blockchain, if you will. The guy is a genius. And you want to see that. I mean, why wouldn't that not excite somebody about getting into H-Bar after seeing his? That's why we bring you guys, for instance, that content and recorded, some of these, old particular lectures from like 2017 and so on. It's amazing what he developed with Hashgraph. Anyway, yeah, PlayStation and H-Bar could be a thing. Well, how about this? PlayStation and Jasmy are a thing, right? Even that as well. All right. Going to highlight this last one, and just going to do it right there. And if anything, let's get it back into the particular news that we have for you here tonight at CTN. We did cover a little bit of what Greg Lunt mentioned. And on top of that, a little bit more in regards to some of the quant info. I want to mention this, and that is what you're about to see right here, a little bit more from Quant Papa, but check this out for yourself. This is something else. So if anything, look at this. Shout again to Quant Papa. UST. No, I'm not talking about Terra UST, the former stable coin. I'm talking about UST in regards to that partnership with what Quant, right? So UST goes into healthcare. Yes, it is interesting. We have covered this a few months ago, and that was a real powerful partnership. Listen to this. I'm going to blow this up a little bit. So it says UST is a leading digital transformation solutions company providing technical integration and tokenization services to central and commercial banks and capital market participants. Think about the consistency that we're having across the board. Remember I mentioned earlier in the show? You're seeing Larry Fink mention some of this, the tokenization. You're seeing some of these other big players. You're here seeing Monty Mensker mention the tokenization of digital assets. You're seeing Gilbert Verdian, the tokenization of digital assets. It's across the board, guys. It's something else. So look at this. Quant provides foundational technology, and UST provides support through user interface design and integration via its sandbox based in their London Innovation Lab. A sandbox. Think about that. People want to play around with that particular innovation, that particular what? Like the overledger. And they want to see what they're able to do with it. They want to see if there's any boundaries. There isn't. When they make the claims of interoperability at scale that nobody else is doing, it is simply just that. That's why Quant has so many darn partnerships, right? Literally, what is it, over 100, if I'm not mistaken? Anyway, a little bit more in regards to this. The partnership facilitates the issuance of central bank digital currencies. Yes, digital money in the form of commercial stablecoins. Think about what's going on with stablecoins with the likes of who? Especially with the likes of XLM. Have you not drawn why we put so much emphasis on the utility run that will kick into the real true bull run? I definitely can. I know why I state these are my top three. Quant, XRP, XLM, and number 4, XDC. And yes, I'm fully aware of H-Bar, some of these other ones. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be massive. But these ones are ahead of the pack big time. A little bit more in regards to this. By working with the two firms, financial institutions can shorten the life cycle of their blockchain projects to just a few weeks. Just a few weeks. My God. Remember when Gilbert Verdian was talking about there's this particular project and they're saying basically it takes about $10,000. I don't know if he said a week or a month, whatever the case be, to operate. And he was like, yeah, we can scale that down to half of your operating expenses. Wow. Okay. How's that done? Yes. Let's get together. We'll break it down with 3 lines of code. We'll make this happen. And oh, by the way, your 3 to 4 year outlook for your blockchain, that's no longer a thing. Really? Yes, it's no longer a thing. We'll get it done in 8 months. 8 months? So not only are you saving various different blockchain projects a lot of money, you're also doing it at scale that nobody else is doing it. And we keep pounding that home. The reason why we keep pounding that home is because that's what sets Quant apart from the competition. When people come to me in the comments or send me a DM, hey, Max, you know that there's these other blockchains that are really already interoperable. Okay, what's the answer? The answer is this. Quant's overledger is blockchain agnostic. Yes, blockchain agnostic. It's an operating system. It doesn't require an extra layer of what? Blockchain. And if you're going to have the extra layer of blockchain, then that's when that, things get drug out for multiple years. This is what I'm talking about, because now you have multiple layers of what? Utility. Not just one, not just two, not just a few. Nobody does it like Quant. This is what gets me so excited about Quant. And then combine that with the likes of scarcity. This is why people got to own at least one full Quant. And when, if you want to get to millionaire status, that's why I say stay at least 10. But anyway, let's get a little bit more further into this. I know I got hyped up about that. I know some people appreciate when I don't get hyped, but once in a while I do get hyped when it comes to the likes of Quant. We're going to kick into our next particular segment, and it is in regards to Ripple's XRP. Let's get right specifically into this. This made mainstream news. Listen to this. Recent reports show that Ripple partner D-Money, D-Money, new money. Well, hear me out. Is entered into a partnership with Visa. Now, for instance, all the people were stating in the past, Ripple is not focused on the retail sector. Well, things have shifted. And if anything, while we make the statements in the past of all these guys are big players, they want to be interoperable with each other. It's not about being in competition. Well, guess what? A little bit. And how do we know that? With what you see here with Visa. So let's get into it. The fintech giant out of Thailand and a 3-year-old partner with Ripple has partnered with Visa to fully integrate Visa Direct into its global payment platform. And this is key, because the reason why I want to point an emphasis on this before we kick it back into the comments and so on, we need to see what's going on with this, because now you guys are starting to see why I'm all hyped up, why some of you guys are hyped up if you have taken a deeper dive into this, because we literally been talking about this for the longest time, and that is this. The start of what? Various countries, various central banks utilizing the on-demand liquidity. I've been preaching about this for forever. Why? Because I realize we are at the point where people are really going to swing trade Ripple at 40 cents, 42 cents, where the case be. Those are just little droplets coming out of the faucets. Wait until those Olympic-sized swimming pools have these giant faucets turn fully on, and all that on-demand liquidity is just gushing into literally just that, these giant pools. That's why I mentioned some of this in layman's terms. So per this partnership, users will be able to carry out lightning speed cross-border payments globally. Visa is a global payment solution, as we know. Who doesn't know about Visa? Who doesn't know about MasterCard? It's present in over 170 countries and enables over 160 currencies. This becomes readily available to D-Money users in Thailand, and only they will need Visa details of the recipient to send the money. What a powerful thing they got going on with Visa. Ripple. Listen to this a little bit more. The time-saving attribute of this partnership makes it very appealing. Visa claims that in 30 minutes or more, then enough time will happen in which they can have recipients receive funds after the transaction, unlike the days involved with traditional cross-border payment solutions like, for instance, what the likes of Swift. I'm not saying Swift is going away, but if anything, it's going to be upgraded. With what? ISO 222. And when does that happen? March 20th. Why are we so bullish? Draw the dots. The Chief Executive Officer of D-Money, Aswin Philamfonfanich, my goodness, explains the value that Visa offers. He mentioned that the Visa speed and security make it ideal for real-time payments. Guys, got to listen to this. This partnership allows our customers to send funds directly to their friends or family's debit card accounts in real time. Remember Mike Cornwell said this months ago? He says, Max and everybody else, part of the CTM family, whether we were having 10 people watch this or 20 or 50, or whatever the case be, I'll give him a shout out because he said at some point, we will have a point in time where we swipe our debit cards and we won't even realize it's tied into crypto. You think all these people are going to really care about, Visa? Oh, I wonder if it's tied into crypto. They won't even know. That's the magical thing. When we talk about Quant, talk about Ripple, talk about Stellar, it's these particular ones that have the utility where it doesn't even matter if you know, or the average Joe Schmo knows that it's tied into crypto, because we will understand where the utility is already at and where it's going, because it's already there. And you're literally seeing it as we speak. This is why I'm hyped up, guys. I'm excited about this. It also enables real-time payments. Excuse me. 24/7, including weekends and holidays, which are not feasible with a traditional bank. Yes, understanding where we're going from Web 2 to Web 3. D-Money's partnership with Visa rides on the back of its earlier partnership with who? With Ripple. The partnership was intended to provide instant settlement for the customers on affordable cross-mass debater. No, I'm kidding. Shout out to Mass. Anyway, if you're new, you're like, what? Anyway, cross-border payments in Thailand. And guys, I don't think it just ends with Thailand. How do we know that? Look a little bit more. The International Bank of Australia. Even Australia is on board with this, guys. Look at this. Novati's dedicated banking arm, which is IBOA, can now fully operate in Australia. The Australian Prudential Regulation Authority, which is called APRA, has granted the International Bank of Australia a restricted authorized deposit-taking institution license until what? November 2nd, 2024. And if you're wondering about this, this license specifically allows IBOA to offer banking services to the Australian population. It also gives Novati access to spread its payment solution for cross-border payments in and out of Australia. Guys, I'm telling you flat out, we are seeing the utilization of ODL is starting to happen soon. Can you not get that much more bullish? I think our time is running out when it comes to these particular prices. Larry, I love you, brother, but I got to help you, man. Somebody, we got to get you a KuCoin account or something for you can get some darn Ripple XRP. Because that is the generational wealth that everybody's excited about. And it doesn't just end there. I'm glad that you're in XLM, brother. I really am. You got to get some XRP. There's more about this, obviously. I want to report that to you guys. I am so incredibly excited to see this because we've been talking about this for the longest time. Watch out when you start seeing some of these particular central banks of various different countries, especially. But, let's be honest, when it comes to the central banks of Europe. And the central banks of Europe are going to implement it when? March 20th, all the way out to November of 2025. But it starts with those central banks here soon. Guys, I'm telling you flat out, we are going to run out of time at these particular price levels. Forget the whole thing with the SEC. Understand the utility. Let's get back into the comments. All right. So if anything, we got 73 wonderful people here. Thank you so much for being here at Crypto Talk Now. Let's see who else we have in the comments. I really appreciate everybody who's been sharing the show and so on. We've been talking about Ripple's XRP. I'm more than excited about it and so on. Anyway, the Lazy Shaman Show starring Steve, the Canadian, a bunch of great guys. They are great guys. And if anything, like Larry mentioned the other night, I don't care if you have 2 subscribers or you have 200 or 200,000 subscribers. We recognize people from the utility. Why wouldn't we? We've been part of this grind for the longest time. We are experiencing our own little bull market, if you will, with CTN, and we're glad to have you guys part of this journey. That's the main thing. Thank you guys, sincerely. Really, really appreciate each and every one of you guys who've been here from day one. You know who you are. Eddie T, by the way, thank you for being in the comments, man. A lot of times you're the first person. Shout out to you, man. Wes RA, what do you guys think is a nice bag of H-Bar thinking of going in? I came in, let me double check how much H-Bar I just recently got. I did the math on it based on some of the price predictions in the future and so on. But, you know, I'm looking to put more into it. I came in at about basically like the 6 cent range. I wish it would have came in at like 4 or 5, but you know, unexpected medical bills suck. Let's be honest. But anyway, I'm gonna pull up my H-Bar real quick. So yeah, you know, I want to get at least 10,000. I currently have 8,400. I don't mind sharing that. I don't care. Some people are like, oh, don't share that. Well, you know, it's me sharing it. But yeah, it's a long-term hold. I'm looking at it from the perspective of, you know, it 100xing, if not more. And if anything, I mean, I think that was roughly $800,000 worth in the future. I'm not looking to just be settled with that. I want to, you know, I'm definitely DCing more into Hedera's H-Bar. Why? Because I'm so impressed with what Dr. Lehman Baird has shared with the project. And it doesn't just end there. They're the most greenest blockchain out there. Well, technically speaking, they're not really a blockchain, right? You know, Hashgraph. But my point is, guys, what they're doing with NFTs, you name it, they're really standing out. Those partnerships, Boeing, Google. I mean, come on, man. Do you think Google would get in, you know, partnership with something that's just garbage? No way. I think if anything, H-Bar is it's gonna be top 10. A lot of these ones, you know, people state you're going to be top 10. Let's face it, not everything could be top 10, but realistically speaking, I think you throw H-Bar in that mix in the future. That's years out. Don't get me wrong, but that's why, for me personally, I was like, I have got to have some of this part of my portfolio. I can't just, you know, be settled with just XRP and XLM and a few others. I'm a fan of a lot of it. Great question though. Let me see. I'm gonna double check if for any reason I missed a super chat. I did. Thank you to Wes RA. Let me go ahead and highlight this real quick. Because I apologize. I should have got to your super chat sooner. You did it 8:14. It's not 8:17. Well, that's not too bad. I was only 3 minutes off. Do you think XDC will get to $3? It's my biggest hold. I think it'll get some more than $3. I'm with Rich of Common Sense Crypto. He mentioned, and when I heard this, I was like, holy crap, you have it way higher than me. So he mentioned, for instance, $80 plus. He said more than 80. I don't know if he said 81, but I know it was at least 80. When I heard that, I was like, whoa. And then so I had to listen to 2 of his particular recent videos. And I want to state this real quick when it comes to XDC, because I know a lot of you guys got into XDC because of us. Yeah, we make the statements, you know, not financial advice and so on. We have to protect ourselves and so on, but let's face it. But here's why XDC, you know, you're going to put me on the spot. I love this particular question. So let's put me on the spot. Why is XDC consistently my number 4, like, of my group? The trade sector, right? What they're doing with gold, what they're doing with military grade blockchain, all their particular partnerships, you name it, giving, you know, there's a reason why their label is the ETH killer. And I know some people would criticize me for saying that, like, oh, you're just another one saying it's the ETH killer. But in reality, think about it. It literally is. There is so many different businesses as we speak who are recognizing Zenfin's technology. They're saying to themselves, why the heck would I want to build on Ethereum when there's XDC that has 2,000 TPS, that has fees that are literally the price of a Shiba Inu coin? I know in the past I used to say, for instance, the price of a Luna Classic coin, but the price of a Shiba Inu token, guys, look at how many times that we got into, for instance, late 2021, early 2022. You know, we're like, oh yeah, let's throw our money, instead of putting it into the likes of Quant and XRP and XLM and some of these other ones, let's throw our money at garbage meme tokens. And I got to get into this. This is trending. All these other influencers are covering this, and I gotta throw my money into this. And oh crap! Oh, look at the gas fees, $350. Well, this says that I can get, you know, 1 million tokens, but in reality, I have $2,000 and 400 of that's going to gas fees. Are you kidding me? With XDC, that's not even part of the picture. So my point is this: multiple businesses, they're smart. A lot of these guys that do the research, let's face it, they got proper business plans and so on. And if anything, they're forming up, and word is getting around that there is other blockchains, if you will, that have a better solution, that are a lot faster, if anything, a lot more secure. When we say a military grade blockchain, it means just that. Blockchain 4.0. XDC, I believe, is going to XDC 2.0. We covered it in the past. There's going to be more updates in regards to that. But I know this is a long answer. Do you think it will get to $3? Yes, and then some. I'll state this: I don't normally endorse other particular channels, but yes, I want to know something. When I drive home, whether it's from work or wherever I'm going, and I'm listening to a crypto station, I do tune into what Rich has to say, because he has great content. Rich of Common Sense Crypto, and if I'm not mistaken, he's at least his last 2 or 3 XDC videos, somewhere in there in that mix, he mentioned specifically $80+, but he don't just pull it out of thin air. He has a whole outline of why that is. But I was with you. I was like, you know what, $3, $5. I was thinking, at the most like 7. And so I think we at least get the 3 easily. But further down the road, when you look more further into what XDC is building, then you have a broad perspective of how that could be achieved. Now, I know, some people are like, I don't know, Max, you obviously are not looking at tokenomics and so on. Am I? Or am I, am I not? Or do I realize what is coming here soon? And that is insane market caps across the board for crypto that we've never seen before, because of the utility run and what's coming out. Guys, come on. Let's be realistic about this. With ISO 222, you have the end of that onboarding by November of 2025. For people who are like, I can't be patient. If you are patient about a Roth IRA at age 18, and you're going to be bought into that by age 65, okay, let's play it safe. Let's just say age 20. We're talking 45 years you bought into that, but you can't buy into the whole thing of understanding where we're going with these ISOs and the quantum financial system and so on, when it comes to just waiting a couple years. 2025 is literally, it's almost 3 years. All right. So was it 2 years and 9 months? Come on. This is not the DMV where you're waiting forever. You know what I mean? So anyway, and look, perfect response to what I just said. Patience is a virtue. But Russ, I want to state this. Thank you very much for the super chat. More than appreciate it. Guys, we have really good problems tonight, which is like, there's no way I can read everybody's comment and so on. I want to welcome Sean, the Crypto Smith, a great content creator. Really, I'll be honest. I love you, brother. No homo. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and give this guy a plug, because if anything, I really look forward to Sean having a show, hopefully at least once a week. I'm just going to state this. I don't know if Larry messaged you about it. I want to have an XRP XLM segment at least once a week. If you're cool with it and you got time, where it's just you and I, and we're on the same page about it, and we have a conversation about what's going on with it. I think people would appreciate it. It helps give you a plug and so on. But guys, I want to take a moment to recognize this guy. He has great content. I want to put a plug in for him because I think he deserves it, and mainly because, I know he covers other projects and so on, but I want to show you guys this real quick. He talks about XRP and XLM, and if anything, he's probably more knowledgeable about the two than I am. But if anything, he's been into, Sean, state for the record, I think in the comments, I'll try to highlight it. If I'm not mistaken, you've been into, investing in XRP probably back to 2018, maybe long. I don't know. But guys, I'm going to show his particular channel right here. Please give this brother a particular sub if you don't mind. Here it is. Sean the Crypto Smith. He's ticked up a little bit. That's cool, man. So he's at 1,510 plus subs. Look at this particular video he put out 3 weeks ago. Why he holds XRP and XLM. He keeps you engaged. He has a nice B-roll. He's got 4,000 particular views on this. And he consistently tries to cover those few. There's other ones he covers like MetaMonkey AI and some other particular project like Optimism and so on. But What always excites me the most is when he covers, obviously, XRP and XLM. Help a fellow brother out. He joins us on a roundtable weekly. He's a great member of our Crypto Talk Now network family and so on. Guys, I want to see this thing tick up to 1,520 literally on our show. I'm not kidding. I really, really appreciate it. I'm not just stating that because, oh, you're just stating that, Max, because you're friends with him. He comes on. Well, maybe a little bit, but if anything, watch some of his videos and you understand why I'm impressed with his content. And if anything, I think you will be as well. So shout out to Sean, the Crypto Smith. And by the way, guys, he does a live show every single Saturday. It's called Straight Talk. And it's at every Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, literally an hour before our show. And then, of course, you know, he might go a little bit later and so on, and we're both at the same time. It's okay. But yeah, give him a follow, check out his show, see what kind of content he has and so on. And shout out to Sean and some of our other friends and so on, like Waddy, Daniel Gayton, and so on, Chaka. But yeah, good to see you in the comments, Sean. All right, let's get back into some of our particular coverage. I really appreciate you guys being here. Sorry if you didn't get your comment read and so on. I do appreciate, Daniel, you and your bag tonight. My bag? Oh, I get what you're saying. Like, oh, you know, hey, man, that's not your bag. Well, this is my bag. Okay, fair enough. Maybe it's a New York thing. Larry, sell your Saitama for XRP. Well, if anything, we'll see what happens with that. All right. Let me see if there was anything else that came in that I missed, because I don't want to do that. I didn't see that. Excuse me. I got really hyped up tonight. Anyway, let me just read a few more comments. I'm fired up, Max. Well, glad to see that. I'm glad to I mean, there's a lot to be looking forward to. I mean, you know, crypto is just, it can be a real grind, right? But if anything, my thing was when I got bit by the crypto bug, I never looked back. I'll be honest. And, you know, some of you guys may have similar circumstances where, for me, I know this is not a utility-driven token yet, right? We did see some info about Elon Musk talking about making a payment rail on Twitter, right? So obviously Dogecoin and so on. But if it wasn't for Dogecoin, I wouldn't even be here, right? My $300 turned into 22K, and I never looked back. And I was like, oh man, I got to find out some other ones, Shiba Inu and so on. But then part of my crypto journey was understanding the ones with utility, because I said to myself, I'm going to reinvest this. Yeah, it's cool to turn 10K to 120K, but it wasn't like, it's not going to make me wealthy. I want to become wealthy. A lot of you guys want to become wealthy, hence why you got into crypto. And for me, it was the likes of understanding what Quant's technology is, understanding Ripple's on-demand liquidity, understanding that Stellar Lumens is going to literally be in the future. If you had to pick one cryptocurrency that people could use to buy goods and services on the retail sector for anything and everything, could very well be Stellar's XLM. You know, think about this, guys. That particular group of that one project that was built on Stellar, where was it from Nigeria? The Nigerian Naira has to go through so many different channels, and it gets diminished in price on the regular foreign exchange market. Stellar changes the game with that, because if anything, it helps these, you know, quote unquote third world countries' currencies still hold value. That's the utility itself. When you have a utility that can create something in which people's native currencies of their homeland can hold value, that's where adoption comes in my opinion, because the word of mouth will get around, you know, and they have projects built on. I think there's a lot to be said about Stellar. There's not enough news on it. We're glad, of course, to report it, but guys, that's why those are my top four: Quant, XRP, XLM, XDC. As far as my five, I mean, I don't know. You're gonna have to get back with me in regards to that, but it's been consistent when it comes to that. Boomer F and Sooner says, "I'm back to being a member now. All good." Eddie T, smash that like button and sub. Thank you very much. Profit, the new normal will be building and prosperity. I shy from metaverse and gaming focused areas. So you're not a fan of Gala? Maybe you are. I don't know. Give me just a second. I need to drink something real quick. Kind of got hyped up right there. All right. Cody Core, welcome, man. Good to see you. See, this is an OG of OGs. Cody Core, guys. my first time I was ever even like my first time officially, not as a guest, but my first time like doing the Max and Larry show way back then in April. I remember seeing Cody Core, and I'll never forget it. We had literally two freaking people. I think it was on a Friday. It was Cody Core and one other person. It was two people. I even said to Larry, "Oh my God, we only have two people." He says, "Max, it just takes time." I was like, "I know, man. We'll get there." But Cody, I really appreciate you, man. Like, I really mean that. I hope you're still here to hear me say this, because I'll never forget that as long as I live. It was just two people. So I guess hard work pays off. I can't thank you guys enough. It's really humbling. All right. I was going to gift Boomer and membership, but you can't choose who gets it. Huh. All right. What's this all about? I must have missed that. Tim, that's 2 lucky memberships in a week. I'll take it. Tim Shea won some more stuff. Is that what's going on, guys? Did Tim not only win like NFT trophy collection in the past, but he's actually won a couple free memberships to something cool? Is that what happened? If so, that's awesome, Tim. You're like I don't know. Some people might not want me to say this. Like, you're the the Tom Brady of championships or NFTs or whatever. I don't know. Or how about this? You're the Bill Russell, right? He had 11 championships. Anyway, Brian wins everything. Brian, you win everything. You guys both win stuff. Is rigged for Brian only. Wow. Okay. Boomer F and Simmer states, I didn't even notice my membership was canceled. I don't even know what you guys are talking about, but it's okay. 1.2 million XDC. Is that what you got now? 1.2 million XDC, man. All right. So let's just do this. Okay. We talked earlier about XDC, right? We even got a super chat from it. And thank you again, Wes, for that. But I want to state this. All right. So let's say, for instance, we don't get to 80. All right. Let's just say we don't even get to 40, which was half of what like Rich mentioned in the past. Let's just say we got to like 20, which is still a lot higher than some people got, right? So 1, 2, let me see this real quick. All right, 1,200,000 times, I don't know, let's just say like, instead of saying 20, we'll just say 21. Just off of XDC, Salamander, XDC Commander would be worth $25,200,000 off of XDC in the future, if that's the case. That's not too shabby. And I'm sure, or I shouldn't say I'm sure, I am absolutely sure, because you mentioned Quant, you own some of these other ones. So this is what we're talking about, having by a diversified portfolio. That's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I hope to God somebody, like whoever it is in your family, like somebody just like loves you to death, because because I'd be like, oh my gosh, Grandpa Salamander, or what, I don't know how old you are, Grandpa Salamander. I mean, you might not even be a grandpa. Anyway, Brian Dowdy, crypto high, Tom Shea butter. What? Tom Shea butter definitely wins everything. Wow. Tim Shea, Salamander owns 80% XDC supply. Oh man, how about this? Shout out to I almost said Tim Shea. Shout out to Mike Cornwell. We said this for a while. If you want to own BTC Pay, you could literally buy the whole entire supply, I believe, from anywhere from like $20,000 to $30,000 if you wanted to, which is insane. All right, Profit. I heard, whether true or not, H-Bar tracks aerial traffic. Yeah, they're tracking Elon Musk's whereabouts every day, because they got that NASA. NASA is the rival of, SpaceX. Oh, I don't know. It might be true. All right, let's go further down. Oh, sorry, I was telling future members. Oh, okay, no worries. Yeah, I did see at one point we had 70. That was really cool. That's my personal high. I mean, to the exception of last summer, but I mean, I don't count with both. Like Larry had it. That's crazy. 2 days in a row. Larry had his second highest personal high. I had my own personal high. Together, we were, I don't know, we were in the hundreds or something back last summer, but it's different audience. I'm more grateful for what we have now, to be honest. But anyway, yep. Thank you very much. Thank you, Cody. Mr. Shaggins, like to welcome you. He says, good morning from Scotland. Always appreciate you being here. Let's go further down. Start collecting pennies, 85 or older. Yeah. I have a buddy collects really, really old, currency, like really, really old. So anyway, pre-1981, huh? Today's pennies cost more than they are worth to mint. That's a good point. That's been the case, I think, for a while, actually. All right. Boomer says, yep, actually have a huge jar full of pre-81 pennies. I was born in 1981, by the way. May 12th, 1981. My birthday is coming up in a few months. I'll be 42. Can't believe it. Anyway, actually counted my quarters last night and found 8 silvers. Well, cool, man. Let me go further down. Let me see. 61 now, so I have a 5-year plan. Awesome. Good to see it, man. Sean the Crypto Smith, he says he's down for that. Oh, okay. One that I was talking about earlier. You're responding to Larry right now. Cool, man. I'm really glad to hear that. I think it's gonna be a great show. Hopefully, I think the community will obviously like that. And then if anything, we'll try to like maybe pick some particular thing to research on the same page, have a conversation. It'll be a really cool show. And not only that, man, you got the voice for it, man. You literally like when I watch, for instance, JRE Joe Rogan Experience, and he has certain guests on, like you literally, or I'm listening to Sally, Excellent Sally, right? I said this before, but you have that voice for it, man. I'm not kidding. Like you definitely do. I like your mic settings and so on. If you guys ever listen to me, like sometimes you hear in the background like something revving up. Like what is that? Like something revving up? It's because my computer is liquid cooled and it does do that. It revs up to keep it all obviously cool. I have to have liquid cooling living in Phoenix. With regular fans blowing, it just creates too much heat. And when it comes to heat in Phoenix, no bueno. All right. We're going to get further into it. Let's read a couple more comments and I'll kick it into a little bit more of the news. I know we're an hour and 21 minutes into it. I want to welcome Olamide Adams. Welcome. I don't know if I've seen you here before, but just in case if I have or haven't, either way, welcome. Glad to have you here. Richard, welcome back. Really appreciate you being here. And if anything, let's go further down. See where we're at. So I haven't seen you, Corey Southern. What up, Corey? Like to welcome you to Crypto Talk Now. Consider changing your avatar to something that speaks more about who you are and what you're all about. Whether you're new to crypto or you've been here for a long time, we have a very welcoming community. Thank you for choosing Crypto Talk Now to be here tonight. Right now, he says, Tim, when Max said Tom Shea Butter, I almost cried. Okay. I don't know what the inside joke is, but it sounds funny. Only set 9 away from 70 likes. Thoughts on Electronium? Well, Investor Place covered it in the past, and they were very bullish on it in the past. It is part of the QFS. I might take a more of a deeper dive into it, but currently speaking, I know this much is not one on their particular portfolio to get into right now. I don't know why that is, but I do know it's part of the quantum financial system. So that's in itself is a good thing. But if anything, I can't give you like an educated response on it yet. Maybe in the future I'll take a deep dive into it, but there's no guarantees. But thanks for the question. I really do appreciate it. Yep, right back at you. H-Bar, Quant, ALBT is making the future together. I am looking more into ABT because the community has requested it. So if anything, look out for a deep dive for ABT, not ALBT, ABT. All right. Want to welcome, or I already welcome you for, what do you like about Jasmy? Multiple things about Jasmy I like. I'm very bullish about, for instance, the particular price. Obviously, I mean, it's dirt cheap. I like the potential that, technically speaking, that it's the Bitcoin in Japan. I know it sounds like common things, but here's the thing. Here's where I won't be too common. Okay. Max, give me something good. Give me something like the nitty gritty. The nitty gritty is this, the foreign stable coin market, US based, right? Lifting that ban. By lifting that ban, for instance, this summer, that's the last I heard, by lifting that particular ban, you're going to have those pairings for the people of Japan. So you're going to have, for instance, Jasmy /USDT Tether, Jasmy /USDC Circle. That in itself will create a tremendous amount of volume for the people of Japan. We should pay attention to that because if anything, there's no way in hell, pardon my expression, that Jasmy could stay at those particular levels. Those are signs of, of being bullish, to say the least. Combine that with, they have a new updated roadmap. Last year was very, very vague, very not overwhelming, very underwhelming from the research that I gathered. Now you actually see that there's momentum going. Why wouldn't I want to not consider getting a second bag of this? I have over 100,000 of them. I'm thinking about, if anything, maybe doubling that at these particular price levels. That excites me because, if anything, I recognize that there's opportunity. Does that mean that Jasmy has more utility than some of these other cryptos? Absolutely not. But if anything, I recognize what? It's just that opportunity. If this is truly the Bitcoin of Japan, there's opportunity, to say the least, there. Does that mean I believe that Jasmy is going to go to 69K like on 11/11/2021 like Bitcoin did? Heck no. Totally different. But could it very well go to at least $1? Yeah. Could it go to 50 cents? Yeah. If that's the case, if it goes to 50 cents, even if I just was satisfied with 100,000, that's 50K. That's better than a kick in the butt, to say the least. And if it did go to $1, that's $100,000. There's other people own a lot more than I do. So I look at it from that perspective. I want to pay attention to what's going on with Jasmy. But if anything, that was huge news about the stablecoin market, because that's a game changer for the likes of Jasmy, big time. And we have covered that here recently on the live show. That's a great question. Keep them coming, McIppy. All right, Russell C, welcome. Just bought 600,000 Electronium. Should have waited for the dip. Interesting. All right, Brian Allen, Max, Tim has like 12 nicknames. Tom Shea Butter is my favorite. I just don't get it. But I mean, it sounds funny. That's cool. Crypto McDill. You know what's cool about Tim Shea? I'll state this. He just seems like a guy he's just down. He's just a good natured, like I imagine when you were a kid, kids could just be like, saying stupid stuff like, like I remember when I was a little kid, this is the dumbest thing in the world, right? Second grade, so this kids at school would say first, second, third, raspberry turd. Like, why is a raspberry a turd? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But it just seemed like Tim Shea, even when he was a kid, or even now, like you can say whatever to him, and he's just a good. How about this? Tim Shea, you're a good sport, is what I'm trying to say. There we go. Crypto McDizzle for Shizzle, quantum financial system. Yes. Quantum. It makes, I know there's some people look at that and they're like, is that tied into quant? And then when they see it parlay, oh, it is tied. Well, it's not. It's just called that, but it does sound cool, don't it? It does sound really cool. All right. Hey, guys, thanks for getting that algorithm going. I did say we get into the news. So, yeah, we do have, obviously, problems, good problems. You're very welcome, Tim. I can't think enough, man. Shout out to Tim Shea. All you guys who retweet our show. But, Tim, I mean, you've been here for, like, you're a great member of the crypto community, period. I mean, you're here. I see you are at, for instance, Rodney's. I see you, for instance, I know you're a mod at Awesome Austin's. You do a lot for the crypto community, man. Like, don't ever. I hope a lot of people recognize that. How about this? 2-Bit. You're over at 2-Bits a lot. I'm sure you have a lot of other ones. And it doesn't matter how big or small it is. Like, you're over at Waddy's. You're at, Daniel Gatens. You're all over the place. Space Chick. You name it, man. You're everywhere, man. You're killing it, man. And it's not just you. I see you guys at other places too. So, guys, thank you. All right, how about this? Let's read this, and then we finally will get back in the news. I apologize. Crypto Mike says Jasmy used to have a way lower circulating supply, but it doesn't now, which is why. Hold on, but it doesn't now, which is why you're bullish that it's been diluted almost fully now. Good point. That is true. How often are the lives? We have daily live shows, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, every single day of the week. We've been doing live shows every single day of the week. I know it sounds crazy, since last April. True story. All right, Crypto McDizzle for Shizzle says, I got a lot of Jasmy on the 3 cent. I wanted to get more on it. I just unexpected medical bills suck, but it's all right. You got to take care of your loved ones. All right, so let me go ahead and highlight that, and Actually, I'll highlight this one. Mike, you're going to kill it with these low caps. Yeah, you are. All right, cool. Thanks, Corey. Appreciate it. Hope to see more of you. All right, let's kick it more into our particular news coverage because, I mean, if anything, that's why you guys mainly come here. It's also nice to be recognized, right, in the community. We talked earlier about, for instance, Quant and UST partnership of why it's so significant when it comes to the likes of healthcare. We got into this whole thing with Ripple. I went on a tangent, got all hyped up. I don't really get hyped up about a lot of things, but I did get hyped up about that. And we talked a little bit in regards to this whole thing with Ripple with Australia. I want to get a little bit into this specifically because I don't want to dismiss it. So I talked a little bit about this. And if anything, I want to share this again. Not again, but if anything, I want to go more deeply into what I was talking about earlier. So if you were still here from earlier, look at this. A little bit more explanation about the whole thing with specifically with this thing with Australia, with Ripple. Why does it matter? Why you should care? So it says Ripple partner Novati. Look at what it says ODL. Again, highlighting the on-demand liquidity. This is what excites me. So it's not just Thailand, guys, Australia. So Novati has built a bank, International Bank of Australia, and abstained as a restricted banking license. Quote, the bank will be able to leverage Novati's existing payment ecosystem and global operating base. This is really something. Look at this. Here's the full quote. The bank will be able to leverage Novati's existing ecosystem and global operating base to reach potential customers overseas and enable them to set up bank accounts and transact before they even set foot in Australia. How cool is that? You want to talk about transparency. You want to talk about cutting out tons of the middlemen from the traditional financial structures of what we had in place for decades. This is another layer of utility. We're always talking about, for instance, how great it's going to be from the payment side of things, especially when it comes to Ripple's on-demand liquidity. But when you think about this, when we talk about time is money, and it is just that, this is a perfect example, to say the least. It's really, really impressive. I just want to get a little bit more into that specifically. But anyway, that's really, really cool. On top of that, let's get a little bit more into our particular coverage. We have, for instance, we talked earlier about the whole thing with the dollar to oil ratio, silver and gold, which Coach JV. We did that at the beginning of the show. I want to talk to you guys just real quick about something I saw recently on crypto Twitter in regards to Grant Cardone. Most of you guys are familiar with Grant Cardone, right? So if anything, it's Gary Cardone, and it's regards to specifically Wall Street is coming for crypto. Now, a long time ago, I know most of you guys, probably all you guys, aren't into, for instance, Clearpool, but what stood out for them was that Jane Street, which is a Wall Street powerhouse. They're a very big name in Wall Street. They had a particular column that was written about how Jane Street picked, for the first time ever, a particular DeFi project to borrow on, and that was Clearpool. And that was really significant. It made Clearpool really stand out. This was way back in like March of 2022. And if anything, now you're starting to see more and more about Wall Street getting into the likes of crypto. So let's go ahead and share this. You could draw the connection, for instance, to XRP and so on, but it's nice to hear, for instance, if it's Grant Cardone or members of his family talking specifically about this. Here it is. This is about 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And then if anything, we'll get into a little bit more of our particular news coverage. Thanks again for joining us here at Crypto Talk Now tonight. We really, really appreciate you. Here we go.
The crypto world, because the payment industry has a massive amount of problems in declining credit card transactions, in having your credit card decline just because the provider of that card may not like you anymore. That happened in Russia 1 year ago. All Visa, all MasterCard, you're not using any of this. So the sovereign value to me, as a bit of a creature who doesn't like being controlled by people I don't even know their name, I didn't vote for them. I like crypto because, at least for a small percentage, 3%, 5%, 10%, I have some sovereign, I've managed a bit of my sovereign risk, right? Like, I just want to leave the country now, and I'm going to go live on a sailboat, and I'm not going to be tied to a currency or a passport that makes me do certain things. So that's kind of how I ended up here. I find it intellectually, it is the most exciting industry I have ever been in, bar none. I've been in 5 of them, 5 big ones. I love the youth of the people. I was in Wall Street this whole week. I think companies investing in this space are more serious today than they were a year ago, and far more serious than they were 3 years ago. Like I'm really excited what I saw in New York this week, because there are 150-year-old monster institutions that are coming in this space. They've been studying it. They have not stubbed their toe yet. They didn't get involved with some of this bullshit, and they're going to launch and they're deploying a monster amount of intellectual capital behind it.
Yeah, I mean, BlackRock's here, JP Morgan's here, Fidelity is massively here in the crypto space. You don't get much bigger names than that. They're just sort of quietly evolving. I love the point you made earlier about always wanting to be where there's disruption. You talked about it being technological disruption, regulatory disruption. I think we've clearly had the technological disruption from crypto, which you described well, certainly in the payment space. Are you concerned about the regulatory disruption that could potentially be coming as a result of all the things that we saw there?
All right, yeah, it's quite something to see some of this. Let me turn off the fan. I just had to get cooled off for a little bit. I actually miraculously got my heater fixed. It just needed some new batteries. Ain't that weird? So if your heater is not working right, your AC, you have to change out the darn batteries. I don't know why that slipped my mind. Anyway, yes, I want to highlight some of this. So I'll get back into this for just a second. Cash Cat states, when Wall Street adopts crypto, we are moonbound. Absolutely true, to say the least, right? I mean, that's the way I look at it. Brian Dowie looks at it. You guys all look at it the same way, because again, we have an idea of what kind of money is tied into that. I mean, who doesn't know about the likes of Wall Street, right? Brian Dowie mentions Wall Street already is in crypto, just can't tell us yet. Yeah, no kidding. Freaking Gensler would, flip a lid if he probably already knows, but people coming out public about it kind of defeats the purpose, right? Kind of would lower the SEC morale of the battle they're trying to fight, right? Cash Cat states, Brian, it will be the mother of all bull runs. I agree. I totally agree. 100%. Yep. All right, let's get further into our particular coverage. Again, guys, we're about an hour and 37 minutes. It doesn't even feel like it's been an hour and 37 minutes. I know that I had a hyped up section of the whole thing with Ripple, but when I see things like that, I'm gonna be honest, like that just gets me going. And if I see news again about more and more countries, I'll be more than glad to bring it to you guys and so on. Because I mean, what really gets me going is, it's like, man, this is something else. I mean, when we talk about, for instance, what's going on in March, late March and so on, and then this whole outline with, whether people are fans of CBDCs and so on, that's beyond the point. What's the key thing is understanding the technologies that are tied into all this, connecting the dots. We've been connecting all these dots for what? Well over a year now. A lot of you guys going literally further back than that. I remember my friend, one of my best friends, shout out to Mike Wolf, if he happens to be watching this, he was telling me about the World Economic Forum. He was telling me about CBDCs. He was telling me all about all these crazy things that I just was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. He was telling me this literally over 20 years ago. And to see some of this stuff come true, it's just like, wow. Are we not paying attention? We should be. All right. Smash that like button and sub. Thank you very much, Eddie T. Really appreciate you as always, man. I know I gave a lot of praise to Tim Shea and Brian Dowie and a lot of the other guys and so on. You are definitely one of those guys that are like faithful and here, and don't think I don't appreciate you, man. We more than appreciate you. Tim Shea says Gensler is so corrupt. Absolutely. You have to spit when you hear his name. Ugh. Or how about this? I don't want to get too disgusting about it because maybe some of you guys just ate, but remember that movie, Stand By Me? Remember the guy who had the barfarama? He ate all the blueberry pie. We're talking full projectile, to say the least, with the blueberry pie. That was a great movie. That was shot in Oregon. I'm from Oregon. Anyway, I missed that movie. That was a great movie. I think it was underrated. Anyway, Goldman Gensler. It's the biggest problem. Yeah. 453 in Sweden. I'm starting to feel it. Yeah, I appreciate being here, man. I mean, it shows you like the show. We really, really appreciate that. You got to get going. I totally understand. We still got quite a bit of news coverage, but nonetheless, everybody, we've got to do what you got to do. It's fine. We still have 52 wonderful people, as Larry would say, they're here. It was really cool. I don't know what the figures were. I think it was like maybe 71, 72. For me personally, this is I think this is a new record for me. But I was more than glad to do it. Yeah, it's a classic. I agree. All right, let's kick it into more of our particular coverage. So, if anything, we showed you the whole thing with Grant Cardone and Gary Cardone, right? I think that's maybe his son or brother. I don't know. I really don't know. But nonetheless, the Cardones. A little bit more in regards to specifically what? Actually, XLM. Actually, XLM/XRP. Let's get into it. So let me present this in a way you can hear it. Listen to this, guys. This is something else as well. These are some of the big highlights and headlines. I know a lot of times, people just want quant. You guys got to keep in mind, we cover a lot of this stuff. So it's not just like a quant. There's so much going on when it comes to XRP and even XLM. So the greatest wealth transfer, RUN, right? Look at this. The gold standard is XLM, XRP. Yeah, people stated, XRP is literally backed by gold. XLM is silver. So we get it. But nonetheless, like it says, pay attention. All the banks and institutions are ready to do what? Flip the switch. How long we've been talking about flipping that switch? But when it happens, it's going to be something else. We're already getting a taste, guys, of what's happening. Thailand, Australia. But the big ones is going to happen in what? The central banks of Europe. That's what it's just like, oh, wow. It's going to be something else. Can we get an SEC rule, the ruling for this SEC/Ripple case in favor of Ripple at the same time? I mean, you want to talk about the perfect, just the most amazing thing ever in the history of crypto, in my opinion. This would be like, talk about, for instance, the the opposite great monumentous thing to happen since the opposite of FTX or Terra Luna and stuff like that. I don't know. That was horrible situations, but that would be such a great win and such a great story for crypto. But anyway, let's get into it. And after that, we'll talk a little bit about this whole entire thing with ISO 222 migration. Thanks for being here tonight. Here we go. Let's get into it.
It's going to get really bad really quickly. How would such a freeze actually work? And wouldn't that be highly illegal? Well, it wouldn't be illegal technically because they've been quietly laying the groundwork for years. They rigged the financial laws, changed the rules of the game to allow this to happen. The stage is set. They have the levers in place. The lights are positioned. Now someone just needs to flick a switch and they'll impose ICE 9 rapidly. And again, all of this will be legal because they rigged the system in their favor. Here in the U.S., for example, Congress pushed through something called the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, or IEPA. This allows the government to freeze accounts, assets, even whole institutions at will. The only condition is that there's some threat to national security with a foreign connection. Of course, with a global market, every financial crisis has a foreign connection. Any systemic crisis fits the bill.
Quite a few fit the bill. And that, this is why
it's going to get
1 second. This is why we point out some of this, right? So, the people say you're going to miss these particular wealth transfers, and at these particular prices, why not understand that it's just fractions of, it's not even a lot of these are not even $1. You know what I mean? Like XLM is like what, 8 cents or something like that. Anyway, I did see a super chat come in, or a super sticker. I think it came from a new person, so I definitely want to thank that particular person. Let me get right into it. So, Dog Poop Gaming. Wow, that's quite the avatar. I'll state this. There's going to be a similar avatar. I know you guys may think you forgot about the game show. I have not forgotten about the game show. I just want it to be just right and not a little clunky. But I'll state this. There's going to be a segment, and it's going to be called, we're going to be able to use like your phone on the app, and we're going to ask the community, and it's going to be called, you know, like for instance, it's Daniel's turn, Daniel Gayton or something. Daniel, guys, should Daniel pump or should he dump? And it will show patches. Larry literally took a picture of him taking a dump in his backyard. I'm not kidding. It's hilarious. That's what reminded me of. I think it's hilarious. Dog Poop Gaming. Shout out to you, man. Thank you very much for the 99-cent super sticker, super chat. Really, really appreciate it. Tell us more about who you are and what you're all about. If it's all about taking a dump, that's fun too, man. But shout out to you, man. I really appreciate that. But yeah, let's get further into a few particular comments. Thank you. Yep, 52 beautiful people. Come on, Max. Yeah, it's currently 52 as we speak. Gary Gensler is being run by the banks. The traditional banks. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if JP Morgan is literally doing it. And that doesn't even make sense to me. Like when you hear stories about, you know, what's his name of JP Morgan, you know, just shutting down, you know, criticizing blockchain and just, he's like, you know, crypto's garbage and so on. It's just like, hello. I mean, quorum. Hello. R3 Corda. You know, like what are you doing? Like, did you not get the memo that you guys are literally invested in some of this? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, let's get further down. And Brian Dowie states, FTX going to be up and running again this year. SBF stats on house arrest, corruption at its finest. Yep. All right. Let's see here. Risk It Biscuit. I do recognize the name. He said Quant. Welcome, Mac. Consider changing your avatar to maybe a biscuit or something like that, or where the case be. I don't know. It's up to you, but welcome back. Good to see you here again. And let's see here. You guys are all saying Quant. That's cool. SBF. Oh, hold on a second. Is that Larry's dog Patches? No, it's not. That dog is a boxer, if I'm not mistaken, in that avatar. And Larry's dog is a mutt. All right. Brian Dowie, SBF at home using his parents' bidet. Can we not get? Oh my gosh! All right, Tim Shea, Brian. He has personal. Oh my goodness! Like Eddie Murphy. Wow. All right, interesting. Tim, I'm gonna be surprised. Another great movie. All right, hold on a second. 4-digit quant in 2023. I think it very well could happen. I think if anything, we should pay attention to what's going to happen by summertime. I'm not gonna say it's gonna happen right when the thing goes live, because that'd be kind of like a case of buy rumor, sell the news. But I'm thinking literally maybe sometime in summer, unless we get a Black Swan event. Let's be honest. There's a lot of things we're gonna be based on quite a bit of what's going on Wednesday, but there's a lot of things that could happen. But I'm still for the bull run. You know, these boom cycle thesis, if you will. Part 5 will be released in the morning. But yeah. All right. Great stream, Max. Got to go. Talk with you later. Yep. Appreciate it, Crypto Smith, aka Sean. Good to see you, man. Take it easy. I do see another super chat came in. I'll get to it in just a second. Yeah, but Tim looks like Caroline. Crypto McDizzle says we could hit 4-digit quant well before institutional comes in, and when it does, then we're going to 6, 7, or 8 digits. Wow. All right, ISO Kev. That's a great name. $2 super sticker. Thank you so much, ISO Kev. I have not seen you here. You have a custom avatar. Obviously, that's you. Really looking cool, man. At the beach, right on. Thanks, man. Really, really appreciate it. Hope to see more of you. Let us know what some of the ones that you hold. What are some of your favorite ISOs? And if anything, you know, look, drop any comments, questions you have. We have a very welcoming community. And by the way, since you're a newcomer, at least I haven't seen you before. Maybe you're here with was just Larry or somebody. Consider, again, come in more often. We have shows every single day, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, and we have recorded content. We have shorts. We have everything for you guys. We love to provide lots of content to the community. But yeah, thank you again. Really appreciate that. All right, let's go further down to the moon. Absolutely. Risk It Biscuit. Why has the quant community turned on Greg Lunt? Yeah, here's the thing. All right. So I did see that particular tweet he mentioned, and it's messed up. I think it's crazy messed up. They expect him to be perfect, and that's not cool. I just want to state that his ban from Telegram and stuff like that, I just think is not cool. It's because he posted about Symbia, if I'm not mistaken, and how originally he stated something like it was built on built with Quant. It's a partnership, but he has even stated it was a mistake. It's kind of like, come on, man. People make mistakes. We're human. But yeah, it's bad news. I saw that he, for instance, got banned from that. So we'll see what happens. I'm not ready to cast judgment on anybody. I still will share his content here and so on. So hopefully cooler heads will prevail. Somebody will realize, hey, you know what? He even admitted that's a mistake. And he even pointed out that he's not the only one who stated those particular things. So there's other content creators that basically share that and so on. But yeah, I did see that earlier. I didn't want to point a lot of focus onto it because if anything, there's been some FUD when it comes to Quant lately. And I just thought that's going to be even more FUD. I just want to see how this goes and so on. But yeah, it's sad to see that because I mean, he's very, very passionate about Quant. I think he's a great researcher and so on. But if anything, it just goes to show that even on myself, I mean, all of us, we have to be a little bit more due diligent. And even in the future, I'll state this for the record, I may very well accidentally send out some misinformation. Heck, I even did it once before with Jasmy a long time ago. I got bad information about Jasmy, but then I cleared it up. Why? Because if anything, we're all human and humans make mistakes. That's why there's lots of AI out there, right? It's going to take over Skynet, right? Anyway. But yeah, it's sad to see that. I hope he's doing all right. But I think he'd be more than fine. Greg LUNC does not impress me as being a person that's just gonna, get knocked over easily. And he'll be more than fine. He's gonna be all right. All right. I much rather get a utility run event. Yep. Right now, I still think that Tether or Binance downfall. Yeah, I know you're not rooting for it, but you're looking at it from a perspective like that could happen. I get you. Tim Shea, Brian, I really don't think Binance is going anywhere no matter what's out there. I just think they're too big to fail personally, but you never know. You never know. ISO Kev states he's got XLM, XDC, Algo, H-Bar, and buy other utility coins. Those are great picks. I have all those as well. I just recently got into H-Bar though, a few days ago. Really glad to do it. Let's see here. Zarkin Fruid updated. I don't even know who you are now because it doesn't tell me who where you changed your name from or whatever. So I have no idea. I don't know who you are. ISO Kev says thanks. You're very, very welcome. Brian Dowie says his opinion is government was behind FTX. Now they're trying to F Binance. It could be wrong. You could be wrong, but that's what you think. Yeah, well, you're entitled to your opinion. Absolutely. My thing is, I'll be with you on that. I mean, I stated my opinion, for instance, like a completely other thing, right? Like Quant in a short. There's this one guy. He's I think on the show the last time I was with you guys on Saturday night was a Boost and Flow, and he said something like, I shouldn't do like Quant $1 million coin by 2030. I was like, why not? That's honestly how I feel about it. You know what I mean? With all the cancel culture in this world, I'm still entitled to freedom of thought. And, that's my thing. It's just like people are afraid, like people will hold their tongues nowadays in fear of what other people will think. No, you know what I mean? Like I still come from the old school where you still stick to your guns and what you believe in. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if that's what you believe, then go with it, man. You know what I mean? I'm glad you're voicing that. Hoover, the FUD killer. Tim, Binance Global won't go anywhere, but Binance US might. Yikes. All right. Let's go further down. You're liking Casper. I'm liking Casper too. It's literally on my short list. It's on my must-have now. Shout out to Crypto Mike. He's probably literally saying, not financial advice, Max. Well, like, I gotta admit, the video he sent me a while back, like I was already thinking, like I'm bullish on Casper. I'm like, is on my particular list. There's other ones on my list, right? You know, Sologenic, Quorum, stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not bashing any of those. I think all of those are great ones. But there's ones, let's face it, guys, that go from your watch list to your short list, right? And literally Casper flew, you know, the top of the queue when we got that that news that we shared a few days ago in regards to Casper. I was like, holy cow. Yeah, this is like a pressure cooker effect. Yeah, I would say that you're on the right track, to say the least. Not financial advice, but that's the way I look at it. Yes, River, one of my largest holdings. I have no idea who you are now, but Zach and Frud, welcome to Crypto Talk Now. With you own nothing, and you will be happy. All right, Eddie T, Salamander, hi. Yes. But Runner Casper's a great one. Corey LOL. I have no idea who you are, but that's all right. Richard is here. Agreed. Brian Downey, with both FTX and Binance government, tried to take down crypto. I'm old school. Yeah, I am too. We need more of that. All right. Let's get more into this. Approaching close to 2 hours. That's okay. We're going to get more into our particular coverage. And now we're going to be shifting our focus to XDC. I did state earlier, everything you saw tagged on this particular locked and loaded session of Crypto Talk Now, Quant, XRP, XLM, XDC, AOBT, LCX, H-Bar, Casper, ISO 220, plus Jasmy. Every single one tonight, unlike some of the other ones where we just, you know, for instance, tag them and so on. Tonight, everything that's tagged will have news coverage. I'm not kidding. So let's jump into specifically XDC. Glad to have you guys here tonight. Thank you for joining us for this particular extended coverage. And before we jump into it, I'll read this real quick. Wrap balloon supply is now 268 billion supply. If it hits a billion market cap of $100,000. Heck yeah, man. That's awesome. I know that you've been wondering what the heck's going on with that for a while. That's cool. Max, you missed my comment. I did. Well, you know, probably missed a lot of comments, Brian. Let's face it. You know, man. Oh no. Okay, I see what you're saying. All right, Brian, this is because I love you, brother. All right. This is for you. This is an unofficial, this is a free super chat, basically. Okay. Here we go. Countdown. 3, 2, 1. Even though this never happened, and I can verify this never happened, but nonetheless, I know there's a false belief. Smash that like button like Larry smashed a rock lady. My God. That never happened, though. Well, you don't know that, Max. You weren't there in North Carolina. I do talk to Larry all the time. That never happened, but okay. But I'm sure maybe he, never mind. All right. Interesting. As Larry's watching, he's literally spitting out his water all over the screen, all over Patches just jumping up, going crazy, upset with Larry right now. I'm sure that's the comment you wanted me to read. Yes. Got to hit the bed, fam. Catch you all tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. We'll get right into the last of our coverage. Well, there's not the last, but we have a little bit left. Max, no homo. Wow, you're something else. You know what? Mike, how will you trade it? I plead the fifth. Wow. So there was a chance. Maybe Brian Dowling knows something I don't know. Wow, this is going from Crypto Talk Now to Degen Talk Now. Let's face it, guys. Come on. All right. Well, Max, we do go to the Degenerate Crypto channels. You know this. We're moderators at some of the other. Okay, fair enough. Crypto McDizzle for Shizzle Manizzle for show. I have held it since the day of collapse. Nothing changes. I know. I remember you have for the longest time. All right, let's get into this. All right, so this XDC update. Why does it matter? Well, we'll get right into that right now. So if anything, here it is. And check this out, guys. This is something else. Update on XDC Pay 2.0. Block Scan team is going to update the new version of XDC Pay soon. It's requesting that all XDC community members, they need you guys to back up your seed phrase, basically, right? Why wouldn't you want to back up your seed phrase? Everybody should have their seed phrase backed up. Backed up on something physical, not on your computer, not on your phone, something physical like a notebook or something like that. Or it's just in a safe place, you know where it's going to be at. And then maybe have a backup on top of that just in case somebody spills coffee on it or wherever the case be. I mean, why would somebody spill coffee in your filing cabinet? You might not have where the case be. I'm just trying to get you guys the info. So there's more about this. We'll get into this. Here's a little bit more in regards to it. So here comes straight from xdc.dev, official source. So it states, here's the update. And this was posted today, guys, today. Here's the update on the release of XDC Pay 2.0 by who? Blockscan. Why does it matter? Well, let's get into it. We are glad to inform you that we have resolved all the previous issues reported by the XDC community on XDC Pay. And I'm going to give a shout out to the XDC community. When they passed the whole proposal of creating an official community, it has been a step in the right direction, to say the least, for XDC. XDC trends more. Heck, we even have a bot that automatically retweets our show. How cool is that? So look at this. The beta version of XDC Pay 2.0 was available for testing on the Chrome extension as XDC Classic for the last few weeks. And on top of that, upon completing the testing and confirmation, I should say, I know it says confirming, with the XDC Pay users, we are proposing to go live excuse me, on the primary extension, and it's going to be referred to as XDC Pay. Now, here's some of the specific features. Let's get into that. They added USD, as in US dollar / fiat. I know I heard Larry last night say Max pronounces it as fiat. Well, ever since I heard the crypto commissioner Tim Shea say it's pronounced fiat, I pronounced it the right way ever since. So added US dollar / fiat valuation for XDC. They added the XRC20 token by searching the symbol, so on and so forth. Some of these other ones. Here's one of the key ones. They got the XRC20 token fiat value from CoinGecko. Why is that important? Because as we know from CMC, a lot of times it's not reported the correct amounts and so on. Whether it's certain projects, right? For instance, Hex. It doesn't have a proper listing. How about this ALBT? Remember we saw, for instance, the max and total supplies were not listed correctly and so on. So that's good that they take it from CoinGecko. It says CMC. And then on top of that, an updated major XRC token contracts address in CoinGecko to fetch the USD valuation on XDC Pay. And last but not least, they are requesting that everybody who's part of the community and so on basically uses back this up, right, on their accounts as soon as possible, especially if you're using this particular service. And of course, they look forward to hearing our suggestions. It's just an update. You might not use this particular service, but here's the particular news in regards to just that. On top of that, we have some more news coverage for you. And now we're going to kick it into Alliance Block. Listen to this. Now that Alliance Block has been shredding these last few weeks, and they have, let's face it, we saw literally ALBT. Shout out to Tim Shea, who got in at 3 cents. Some of you guys and so on, 3.5 cents, something like that. And it's gone up to what, 14 cents, maybe touched 15 cents at one point. I don't remember. But here's the thing, done some big things. So it's trending. They've been doing all these particular things. The partnerships standing out specifically when it comes to what they bring to the world with their utility and so on, right? So they want to take this opportunity. This particular person, you were Shell, who I'm going to give a shout out. And she states that she wants to do an overview of the ecosystem. And here's the thing. We know about ALBT. We know about its use cases and so on. But if anything, we can have a broader perspective of its ecosystem. So let's jump right into that specifically. This was published on January 23rd, roughly about a week ago. I saw this and I said to myself, I want to take a deeper dive into this and I want to share this. Excuse me, getting a little bit too far into the show where I'm having problems. But look at this. Liquidity, I'm not kidding. Liquidity mining as a service. So as you guys know, in the past, I covered, for instance, Metapolis, which is MAAS, Metaverse as a service. But listen to this, guys. Liquidity mining as a service. is a white label and open source liquidity mining solution that allows DeFi projects and TradeFi to set up their own liquidity campaigns. And what do we know about ELBT? We know that ELBT is that bridge from TradeFi to what? DeFi, right? So here's another element that is really, really cool, right? So on top of that, in regards to just that, the bridging, look at this. Alliance Bridge is an interoperable solution governed by a set of validators and makes use of H-Bar consensus services. The partnership with H-Bar. Yeah, wow. If you didn't know that, that in itself is really cool. And by the way, the last two cryptocurrencies I bought were what? ALBT and H-Bar. All right. So Alliance Bridge, like I mentioned, they have that set of validators and makes use of H-Bar consensus services. But listen to this. It's the official bridge of, let's add another one to the whole mix. You guys have talked about, for instance, EWT. It's part of Cheat Sheet 2.0. I have it pinned in my particular profile for Twitter. But another one that's part of that particular what? Quantum financial system. So now we have three. So it's the official bridge for EWT, Energy Web, and is currently available on 8 networks. That's super, super impressive. Let's get a little bit more into this because you know what? There is not enough to be mentioned when it comes to ALBT's ecosystem, in my opinion. This was a great outline. I really want to just thank this lady at least by giving her a follow. She deserves it. Shout out to Rochelle, who is at I am Rosie Davis 1. All right. Now, look at this. Alliance Block DEX is powered by a new AMM that aims to reduce permanent loss and offer institutions a way to raise liquidity in a compliant manner. We talk about this whole thing about, like, for instance, having regulatory clarity in future. I think, if anything, ALBT will be one of the front runners in regards to that. We obviously know about the whole thing with LCX and so on. We're seeing quite a few of these where they're doing more than they need to when it comes to being regulation safe, if you will. ALBT is definitely leapfrogging themselves ahead of the pack. All right, a little bit more in regards to this. Remember, we talked about when it comes to ALBT, they stand out when it comes to the KYC process. You're not giving everything away. You don't need to give everything away. Let's face it, like especially when it comes to, medical, right? I go into the urgent care. Do they really need my social security number? No, they don't. All they need to know is that I have insurance. Here's my insurance card. Look it up in the system. There's my insurance. You don't need to have my freaking social security number. So, trustless KYC process that offers compliance without giving away personal information, or at least too much of it, right? It allows any user to become verified and allows access to KYC-enabled token services across the entire ecosystem. Really, really impressive. We talked about this before. It's a particular trustless identity verification solution. They have killed it when it comes to that. And that's why I feel as though ALBT in the future, you could very well see multiple different airports, right? Or other places that are similar, where you have people coming in from flying in from overseas or coming in through ship, wherever the case be, crossing the border by car, whatever it is, having this particular utility by understanding how the verification of a proper KYC process is done and eliminating a lot of the time that it takes to verify a person's identity by taking away a lot of the bull crap. Time is money, like we always mention. All right, a little bit more. Data Tunnel, a decentralized marketplace connecting different individuals and institutions to their desired data sets, making use of ALBT for data monetization. Data monetization? Ooh, that sounds cool. They have an SDK, and it states that an API will be available. Right? We're always talking about payment APIs and so on, but come on, having a software development kit makes more and more developers want to join up with that. There's funders, there's a peer-to-peer participatory funding app based on the merit and reputation for raising capital. I mean, come on. I mean, they got so much going on. And I think, if anything, this is, again, where some of you guys have stated, Max, this is why ALBT is the younger cousin of Quant, or the younger brother of Quant. Think about it. If Quant has multiple layers, I should say if they do, Quant has multiple layers of utility. you can see the connection here with ALBT. Also has multiple layers of utility, but at a significantly lower market cap. This is why a lot of people look at ALBT as being a quote unquote low market cap gem, and I couldn't agree more. That's why I got into it. It became one that was no longer part of my watch list, became my short list of must-haves, and I'm glad I got into it. Yeah, I wish I could have got into it at 3.5 cents, but it's okay. I'm into ALBT for the long term. All right. We talked about Nexera protocol in the past. We're not going to talk about it again. If you want to learn more about Nexera, we did a deep dive. It's in the recorded section. We did a short dive. It's in the recorded section. How about this? Not necessarily the DAO. That's good stuff. But I want to mention specifically how it states or how you see some of these particular responses. This is a good response. This person, his name is Musty Stays here. Okay, hear me out. He or she states, I think it's a great opportunity to do an overview of the ALBT ecosystem, which was done. I know the project has been gaining a lot of attention, and I'm excited to be a deep diver and learn more about it. It's always great to see projects making waves in the crypto space, especially Linus Block. And guys, that's the key thing. Understanding what's going on with this particular the deep dives that we do here, having a broader perspective of the ecosystem. I thought this was a really good outline, and that's why I wanted to share it with you. I'm going to kick it back into the comments. We do have a little bit more particular coverage for you tonight before we wrap things up. Up next on our particular list is LCX. Have a little bit brief coverage with this about two particular ones, and then a little bit more on our particular outline is, for instance, Casper. It's just one particular segment, and on top of that, we have H-Bar and a little bit of Jasmy before we wrap up the show. So there's still quite a bit of news. If you're just tuning in tonight, thank you for being here. If anything, I'm going to get back into the comments. So I want to welcome David Barnett. Thank you for being here consistently as of lately. Really appreciate it. And thank you for your service. Love your avatar, man. Looks really cool. Crypto Mike states, it just can't be swapped back to LUNC Classic. It can still be sold. At least it can be sold, though. That's the main key thing. Are you looking to hold it still long term, or you just want to wait for a little bit more of the news updates, Mike? ISO Kev says cold storage, not your keys, not your cheese, or not your crypto, right? A good point. Let's go further down. Hoover, the flood killer. I tried to buy XDC. Too complicated. Well, my thing is you could get off of KuCoin unless you're not a fan of using KuCoin. Here's the quick gist, right? So if you have a KuCoin account, all you got to do after your KYC is done is, for instance, I know that you're not in the United States, so if anything, this is a lot better for you, because here in the United States, I had to go through third party because they no longer allow US-based debit cards, Visa or MasterCard, unfortunately. So I had to go, for instance, with a couple third-party ones, but I don't have a problem that much. I had to pay a little bit of fee, but it's still worth it compared to just buying it from like crypto.com. So what will happen is after you're verified, you'll do the crypto quick buy, and it immediately purchases it in USDT. After it purchases it in USDT, you figure out how much USDT you want. It takes a little bit of time. It goes to your trading account. And then from there, you go to spot trading, and then you find, for instance, the pairing on the spot trading. So for this example, it'd be called XDC/USDT. You find that pairing, then you switch from your main account, or I should say from your from your main account to your trading account, and then you decide how much of it you want. And you do like a market limit. So if you wanted to do, say, 50%, 75%, 100%, wherever the case be of, let's say you had $1,000 worth, $1,000 would be at 100%. And then from there, you purchase it, you literally will hear a sound, it will go a cha-ching, and it's done. And it literally takes within like 5 minutes, you get it sent to your main. It might send it to your trading account, actually, and then you have to switch it to your main. But it's, after you get used to it, it's very, very easy. I don't know. I might actually just do a KuCoin tutorial if enough people feel like they need me to do that. I could do that. I think I did one in the past, but I could always do a new one. All right, let's go further down. Let me see why you use a swap. I don't even know who you are, my friend. Let's go further down. ISO Kev XDC is on Uphold. Not that I'm just, maybe it's Cody Core. I don't know who it is. XDC is on Uphold. Yeah, I know a lot of you guys use Uphold, and I know a lot of you guys actually prefer it over like KuCoin. So I haven't used Uphold yet. I'm so used to KuCoin and some of these other ones. The reason why I use KuCoin is just really low fees. Like, knowing that once you get used to it, it's actually, for me, it's my preference. But teach us on. I store XDC on Decent Wallet. Yeah, I mean, by all means, after you get it off of the exchanges, try to get it off, to your particular cold storage. I haven't used MEXC, but I've heard multiple times, Richard Common Sense Crypto, he's mentioned that the reason why he likes MEXC is there's no period where it's locked up. They don't have a lockup period, which is cool. That sounds cool. That might make me want to jump into it, but I don't know. It's not that big of a hassle for me, but to teach his own. Tim Shea says, Mike, need liquidity to sell. Let me go further down. Your split, you have, excuse me. I split my crypto between NanoX and my Decent. Oh, you kind of have it diversified with different cold storage, huh? Cool. All right, Matt C is in the house. Hey there, Cash Cats. I guess that's one of your friends. Well, I'd like to welcome you, Matt C. Nice custom avatar you got there. Let me see what kind of cat that is. Let me see. Interesting. Well, welcome. And let me get further down. Max, I do not trade. Try buying on my ledger. Oh, very cool. Yeah, I remember in the past you mentioned that you don't do that, so no worries. River Runner states KuCoin works for my XDC grabs. Yep. Thank you. It's a boss cat. Oh, yeah, no problem. I'd like to welcome you. All right. Let me go ahead and highlight that. I'm going to get a little bit more into our particular coverage. I know we're over 2 hours and 50 minutes into it. Let me see what we got here. So if anything, we covered XDC. We gave you guys the particular update. We talked about ALBT. Now we're going to jump into, for instance, LCX. Let me see where we're at with that. So, hold on. Here we go. So it's a particular milestone, right? Let's get into LCX. All right. Here it is, guys. Look at this. Maybe you saw this, maybe you didn't. This is cool. Nice to recognize particular milestones. LCX hit 11,000 holders back in July of last year, 2022. 6 months later, and we are a handful away from 17,000 LCX holders. In fact, it might even be at that right now. We've been averaging 1,000 new holders per month, and that's the key takeaway from all of this. Really amazing progress. Couldn't agree more. We were so early, as the saying goes, even at these particular prices of over 10 cents, 13 cents, and so on, right? Some people feel as though, oh man, I missed LCX at bottom. I feel that way still, but I'm not looking at to swing the trade this thing. I'm looking at it from the long-term perspective, so I'm not really sweating it too much. But yeah, we're so early considering this to go bigger than BNB. I don't agree with that. I'm just going to be honest. I want to be a little bit of a realist. I think BNB is too big. All right, too big to fail, especially. That's just the way I personally believe. I don't see LCX being as big as BNB. Now, some of these people are going to be like, oh, that's FUD. It's not FUD. It's just me being realistic. That doesn't mean I'm not going to get LCX, and doesn't mean I'm not going to report on it. But I'm just, again, trying to be real. My thing is this. Could LCX, become half the market cap of BNB? Possibly. I will state this. I think, if anything, we do see at least a quarter of BNB's market cap. That's huge. That's like $20+. That is huge upside potential. And to me, that's being realistic. So, as we know, BNB has 301,000 holders. And of course, maybe some people say, well, Max, look at that particular holder amount. If we already reached 17,000 and we were at 11,000 holders 6 months previously, why wouldn't you want to state this gets up to it? Because Binance is still the biggest one out there. And again, I have to be realistic. But guys, I think there's a lot of potential, obviously, with the likes of LCX. So let's get into a little bit more in regards to our coverage for LCX. So the connections, there's lots of connections when it comes to LCX. The connections keep getting deeper and deeper. And look at this. Look at this. I'll blow this up. Swiss bank Zeitgestion becomes first private bank to tokenize its own shares. Now, as we know, when it comes to LCX, they stand out when it comes to just that, the tokenization of, for instance, diamonds. Heck, you got the Diamonds project and so on. But listen to this. The private bank is partnering with digital assets firm Taurus to issue and manage its tokenized shares. And that's what really, really stands out here. And it's really something else. To get more into it, look at some of these that are listed. We haven't done a deep dive into Tezos yet. I have promised that we will do that. Look out for a deep dive for Tezos, Near, and even Theta. Why? Because I think, if anything, those are really, really good projects with a lot of utility. But I like how they circled that. On top of that, talking about some of these deeper connections. So, for instance, this was a while ago, but you have to recognize what's happened. LCX.com joining the Open VASP Association as a member. LCX is joining the association alongside SIBA Bank, Bitcoin Suisse, Tezos, Web3 Foundation, and others. This happened a while ago, but nonetheless, what is breaking is what you see here. Swiss bank Zeitgestion becomes the first private bank to tokenize its own shares. When we talked about, for instance, the likes of LCX, you guys have stated it since before last summer, 2022. Max, Larry, you got to look into LCX, because LCX is going to do what? They're going to literally become a bank, a blockchain bank, right? And now you see, for instance, those deeper connections. And now you have this Swiss bank Zeitgestion becoming the first of its kind private bank to tokenize its own shares. That is something else, to say the least. All right, a little bit more in regards to our particular coverage. Let's kick it into this right here. We're jumping into Casper. Yes, Casper. Everything you saw tagged today gets news coverage. Casper Network, Highway Consensus, Proof of Stake, Mainnet Genesis. When people say we're at the beginning, we literally are. Casper does not get enough coverage. It is my must-have to get, and I will get into it here soon, because I don't want to wait. I make the mistake of waiting too long for some of these other ones like ALBT and LCX and so on. Literally, next payday coming up here soon. I have got to get Casper before it blows up past close to 4 cents right now, below 4 cents, to get past that. So I want to get these particular prices. So listen to this, guys. Layer 1 blockchain to accelerate enterprise and development adoption, scalable, secure, decentralized, Turing, complete platform plus permissionless mechanism. But the key thing is, look at this particular diagram. It reminds you of kind of like the recent one we put out about, for instance, LCX, and the one obviously before that for, Cheat Sheet 2.0, and then the guy who did the one for Quant. Look at this. Really, really impressive. So you have, for instance, the Turing Complete Smart Contracts platform. There's a lot here I want to mention. I'm not going to read all of it, but if anything, here's some key highlights I want to mention. So they do have scalability. For instance, we talk about, Quant they're able to scale like nobody's business, right? But Casper as well, right? So you have the scalability, the programmability, decentralization. They have a privacy side of it and so on. But what I want to mention is this. They're a layer 1 blockchain network designed to accelerate enterprise and developer adoption. Like we mentioned before, provides enterprise-ready security and scalability and decentralization on, listen to this, guys, a single blockchain protocol. Turing Complete Smart Contract platform, a public blockchain with permissionless mechanism. And they have this thing called a Byzantine fault tolerant, which is referred to as BFT plus. If you're wondering about the utility specifically when it comes to Casper, look at this particular outline. They reward validators, and that's one of the key things here. And it will pay for computations of transactions through what? Stable gas fees. Good luck, Ethereum. Yeah, good luck with that. Serves as a medium of BTW network participants. They have grant programs. Remember we talked about the other night when I was with you guys, not yesterday, because I wasn't here yesterday night. Larry was here, but the night before that, which would have been Saturday. Remember talking about H-Bar's grant program? Casper has a grant program. Look at this. Casper Labs partnered with Dev XDAO to collaborate with Emerging Technology Association, ETA, a Swiss association, to onboard prospective developers, researchers, and scientists who are looking for a decentralized infrastructure project funding. And here are a few of these particular partnerships. You have Arrington Capital. Look at the XRP connection to that. You have, for instance, Cardinal. You have some of these other ones. But another key takeaway is what? Chainlink. Yeah, Chainlink. Wow. Really, really impressive. On top of that, you have Hashkey, and you have, for instance, Consensus Capital. But my key takeaway is from Arrington, which is, connection with XRP. And of course, especially, guys, that Chainlink connection. Super, super cool. I feel as though Casper is extremely undervalued, kind of like XDC is undervalued. And let's face it, guys, these are both right around the same price. I believe this is like maybe a penny more than XDC. XDC is going for slightly under 3 cents. This is slightly over, XDC slightly under 3 cents. Casper's slightly under 4 cents. All right. Both extremely undervalued. And I feel as though for both of them, XDC and Casper, it's that pressure cooking effect is definitely going to happen. And when we get into that utility run, I think these are going to pop off something fierce. All right. A little bit more in regards to our particular coverage here in a moment. I'll kick it back to the comments though, because I want to keep up with that. I still see we have about 30 people. I know we had some extended coverage tonight, but there was a lot to cover, and I really appreciate everybody who's here. Let's get into it. So let's see. We got Tim Shea says, "Hey, Matt." Matt C says, "Glad to have found you. You came highly recommended." Well, thanks, man. I think you gave a shout out to your particular friend. So, I really appreciate that. That means a lot. It means that you guys, like the content we provide and so on. And if you want, for instance, particular updates, we don't just do live shows. We have recorded that we put out. We do deep dives. We do, on a short, we do shorts. We cover it all basically. So thanks, Matt C. I hope to see more of you. Cool custom avatar, man. All right. Bitmart has XTC. Yep. All right. Let me go further down. Yep, that's absolutely right. Every single day, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific for Crypto Talk Now. Sorry, man. This darn share kind of gets stuck sometimes. River Runner states, LCX is a thorn in my side. I don't have any. That's the way I look at it too, man. I'm in so many different ones. At the beginning of 2022, it's part of my crypto journey, but like I should have waited longer. I put like a significant amount of what I earned from the 10K and 120K. I put like basically 52K back into it. And then since then, back into crypto, I should say. And since then, another 8K. So a total of like 60K back into crypto and so on. Didn't have a lot of profitable ones in 2022, but a lot of us didn't, right? I'll state this. One I really overlooked that really performed well for 2022 was Osmosis. Shout out to you guys who recognize that particular opportunity. We never talk about Osmosis, but anyway, that one did really well for 2022. All right, I'm gonna get further down. Yeah, sometimes it is. If you guys wonder about that, sometimes I'll get distracted, in which something will come up real quick, and I'm like, crap, like earlier, my dad really needed help. Something, I take care of my dad. He's 88 years old. And so he was like, I have an emergency. To be honest, he had a crazy itch. He was just driving him crazy. And I was just like, oh, Dad, I was like, I'm not done with my research, man. So, anyway, I should have had that done a long time before. And I did. But nonetheless, I wanted to be I guess technically speaking, I guess the show could have ended a long time before then, but there's always some things that happen. A lot of times, like I'll get stuck in traffic, especially when I was teaching. Man, that was crazy. Doing like 5:45 in the morning, being a full-time teacher, and then immediately after basketball coaching, then immediately after that coming home, fighting through rush hour traffic, only having like, was it like not even an hour leeway before the show starts. Somehow got to make dinner for everybody and then have research ready. Crazy times, but a lot of us have schedules like that that's similar, so I'm not complaining. But yeah, that's why sometimes it starts a little bit 15 minutes later. I try my best to have it start on time, but sometimes I think to myself, if if I didn't have enough material, I think if anything, you guys do appreciate or understand. So thanks for giving me the benefit of the doubt. I give you guys benefit of the doubt too. All right, Matt C. BNB is a behemoth. I don't see anything surpassing it anytime soon. That's the way I look at it. I mean, I think anything below $300 for BNB is still an absolute buy. We do know that thing in the bull market is going to blast off. We don't talk about it enough. I mean, even at 313 is not bad. I'm going to wait to see what happens with the whole thing of Chairman Powell on Wednesday. A lot of you guys are as well, right? So, I mean, if we get bad news, don't be surprised if you see BNB pull back below 300. And if anything, if you don't have an entry point like I don't, I might actually pick some up, but I don't know for sure. I mean, do I pick up a lot of that? Probably not. You know what I mean? My thing is, am I going to pay, let's say it pulled to like 299, 300. All right. Am I going to put 300 into BNB or am I going to put 300 into Quant? That's the way I look at it. Like, I'm going to go with Quant, but at the same time, am I not going to understand that BNB in a bull market wouldn't blast off? Of course it's going to blast off. I mean, look at this, guys. I mean, this was up as high as $650 back towards the time that Bitcoin, Ethereum were all-time highs. Like I said, 11/11/2021. So anyway, let's go further down. GS, need more LCX. Jerome needs to FUD good to get us discounts. Yeah, there's going to be those you guys are going to root for this. Don't get me wrong, because you want to just keep getting at low prices and so on. That's understandable. And there's other people who are just going like, nah, I'm done with it. Let's get the bull run going and so on. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm in the minority for sure, but I don't trust any exchange tokens. That's all right. I don't think you're too far in the minority. Maybe at one point you were. If anything, I think you might be in the majority, my friend. Tim Shea states, GS Jerome just needs to open his mouth and we at least dip. That's true. Waiting for Wednesday's dip for sure. Yep, we're going to follow that closely on Wednesday. Maybe that'll be one of the big topics, depending on, of course, when he comes out. I forgot what time it is that he'll come out with that, but we'll see what happens with that. Brian Daly, Matic did pretty good in 2022, and it did. It did. That, to me, Matic was the standout one for 2022. If you had to pick one that performed the best in 2022, I think it's Matic. I will state this: Osmosis, though, didn't get enough coverage. But if you look at the chart, it did very, very well for 2022. All right, Brian Dowie, Luna Classic lost a lot of money for people, but also made a lot. Yeah, it's true too. I always forget to mention Luna Classic because we don't cover as much. I know I should probably cover, I feel like Luna Classic is gotten to the point where it's really saturated with content creators covering it. And then here at Crypto Talk Now, like there's only so much we cover. But yes, we did used to cover that a lot. Don't think for a moment that I'm not rooting for Luna Classic. I am definitely rooting for Luna Classic to rise from the ashes. I have $4,400 into Luna Classic, so I'm rooting for it to achieve what it needs to achieve. But I'm sticking to my guns. I think if anything, 2023 is going to be a standout year for them as far as what development, right? Getting that ecosystem back. We're always talking about the burns, but they really need to get that thriving ecosystem that was once a great thing, a very attractive thing for developers and so on. We're talking literally before, everything went to, kaput, right? Before the big, huge collapse. All right. Mag is still down. Yeah, I mean, if you want to compare it to like where it's at, I mean, I hold a bag of it, and I should have DCA'd multiple times, but I didn't. I put it more into like some of these ISOs, but Mac is part of the QFS, so that's a good thing. But yeah, Coochie Boy, good to see you, man. Anyway, Crypto McDizzle for Shizzle McDizzle for show. Here's a good exercise. Screenshot your portfolio, go to a calculator, figure out what you would hold at all-time high prices that may make you shift investments. Are you looking to 2x, 10x? Yeah, and another thing I want to point out is this, Investor Place has pointed this out, Mike, and they point out multiple times, and that basically is they feel as though that there's quite a few, as far as the utility-based ones, they feel as though we're going to get the second wave of all-time highs going from, sometime in 2023 out to like 2025 and so on. And so for me personally, I'm looking at from the perspective of, okay, which ones you know, have really significant rate of risk to reward ratios again. You know, like I'm looking at I talk about every so often. I think I talk about Filecoin at least, I don't know, what, 3-4 times a week. I look at Filecoin from these two perspectives. I look at it from a short-term perspective, and I also look at it from a long-term perspective. I want to pull up Filecoin just real quick before we kick it in a little bit more into our particular coverage. The reason why I mention this is because I think Filecoin is a real threat, if you will, to the likes of, for instance, like, you know, the traditional Amazon. All right. So let me just pull this up real quick. So Filecoin is, like, me personally, back when I was kind of like new to altcoins, I went all in on BTT, right? And I still hold BTT. I have over 4,000 invested in BTT. But I should have, if anything, put it into Filecoin, or I should have held off and gotten to Filecoin at these particular prices. But, you know, again, it's part of my crypto journey. But Filecoin takes the cake all the way. I want to show you guys something real quick in regards to Filecoin. And I know a lot of you guys are already into Filecoin, but no, I don't hold Filecoin yet. I'm waiting a little bit for some pullback. But here's the thing. So Investor Place was mentioned in the past recently. When it comes to specifically like the likes of Filecoin and so on, they were talking about how we're going to get into second waves where a lot of these things that, you know, a lot of people feel as though were like one and dones, right? Like look at an artist that's like a one hit wonder. You can't look at these cryptos as being one hit wonders for all time highs. We're going to reach, for instance, multiple new all-time highs for some of these, not all of these. It's the ones that have, like we're always talking about, you know, the real utility. Can they get back to, you know, surpass some all-time highs? I think we'll see that in the future for Filecoin. But for me personally, I looked at Filecoin as something that really stood out for 2022. It may not seem like it, but I want to show you guys something real quick right now, and that is, so February 8th of 2022, you're sitting at $24.06. And of course, you know, when we get to, like, I think it's, what was it, May, if I'm not mistaken, for the Terra Luna collapse, everything just kind of took a nosedive, right? But if you think about it, if you look at last summer and look at where we're at now, it just kind of had a steady up and down, and then straight across, and then up and down. And I don't know. To me, I mean, if you break this more further down, it was kind of like a swing trader's dream. Well, just let's be honest, Luna Classic probably was a swing trader's dream. But I mean, as far as like ones that were in the top 30, top 40, 50, Filecoin was definitely. And my thing is this: when you look more into it and understand from a DeFi point of view, it's a real threat to the likes of what? Amazon and so on. And I know the same could be said for some of these other ones, like people say Stratos, and I'm with you. We done kind of a deeper dive into that. Shout out to Tim Shea with, for instance, Flux and so on. I think all of these are obviously threats, but I mean, if I had to pick one to be like the biggest threat, if you will, I mean, let's face it, Amazon's not going away. But if you look more into, I don't know, I might just do a deep dive video into Filecoin. I'm really, really impressed with Filecoin. And I'm looking at these particular prices, and I'm thinking to myself, do I just finally, you know, pull the trigger, if you will, and I make an entry point into Filecoin and keep it on like a short-term swing trade consistently, and then keep another bag of it for like a moonshot, because this is one that gets brought up consistently about having a second wave. Now, here's something I want to also point out: the circulating supply. You're sitting at 375 million of these particular Filecoins, right? That matches the current total supply, right? And then on top of that, you want to talk about volume and so on. We had a lot of pullback recently in regards to the whole entire market, right? Everything for the most part is red because, I mean, let's face it, we're having like a retracement pullback, etc. But this is up 17%. That's decent volume. You know, I mean, it says 17%, but that's still pretty decent volume. Combine that, for instance, with a lot of things they got going on, and don't think they don't have much going on. They definitely stand out. I mean, if you had to pick BTT and this, there is no freaking comparison. There's no comparison. This takes the cake all the way. I don't know. I really think I'm gonna finally do a deep dive into it because I've been talking about this enough. Does anybody here hold Filecoin? And if so, I want you. Can you tell me what was the main reason you got into this, other than it did well in 2022 and so on? Because this was one that I should have totally got into instead of BTT. I still hold my BTT, and it is one of those long-term holds. I still believe that they're going to do something. I kind of look at BTT as kind of like Cardano, if you will, when it comes to these storage cryptos, if you will. But I'm so much more impressed with Filecoin compared to all the other ones, BTT, and some of these other ones. Anyway, I know I kind of went on a tangent on that particular one, but I mean, you can't dismiss Filecoin. There's a lot of upside potential with this. It's ranked 33. It's kind of held its weight, if you will, in a crypto winter. All right. Going to go back to the comments here in a bit. Let's see where we're at. So bought at $1.49 2021. Brian Dowdy says, Coochie Boy only got into crypto last March. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. If anything, man, you came in a perfect freaking time. If everything, I mean, yeah, I did well in 2021. Don't get me wrong, but man, yeah. But then again, it's part of the crypto journey. You know what I mean? I think. I mean, I wouldn't trade my knowledge, you know. But if anything, shout out to you and other people who came in at that time, man. I mean, that's the time to come in is when things are rock bottom and buy them at those particular levels. You're gonna be more than fine, Brian. All right. Mac will hit $9 at some point. Well, I'm cool with that too. I still hold Mag. All right, Coochie Boy states he did grab some at 0.55 in March of 2021, though. Okay. Cool. River Runner, I've been into crypto now since November. Noob here. That's all right. You know what I mean? Everybody was a noob at some point. I mean, for me, originally, it was Bitcoin back in 2016. And then I got really into altcoins the beginning of 2021, like literally at January. So I've been in, technically speaking, I want to say, as far as taking all, you know, deep into it, a little over 2 years. All right. So I don't know. Some people say, well, you got to go with Bitcoin, but nah, I don't know if I really count that. You know what I mean? Because I mean, it's kind of like, hey, I'm going to throw some money at Bitcoin. Is that really being like a genuine trader, if you will? Not really, right? So, but technically speaking, anyway. Hoover the Flood Killer, any thoughts about Volt? They have been quiet lately. Really, I don't think they're too quiet. I mean, I think, you know, the community is what keeps them alive and thriving. But are you talking about specifically when it comes to like big, huge updates? Is that where you're going with that? I'd like to hear more about that. Runner, you and me both. All right, hold on. Matt C, the storage narrative is going to be important in my opinion. This is coming in this coming bull run. FIL, right? Filecoin, AR at the top. All right, cool. Glad to see somebody else understands that. Coochie Boy Lolo bought Filecoin in December 2024 with 30. Oh, yikes. Well, new Italian highs. I mean, at least you could turn profit at some point. But you know what? Here's the thing, Coochie Boy. Don't feel bad, brother. The way I look at it is this. How about me and my Matic? Like I was well over $2 for my Matic, right? I overpaid for it, but you know, it goes to $9. Like, you know, Tim Shea was stating it'd be fine, but I guess what offsets that would obviously be what? DCAing. So, all right, Brian Dowie states Hoover should been here last night. LOL. Huh. All right, Crypto Mike. I got into crypto November of 2021, but I study them deeply. We are really starting to break into the best projects. All these utility projects have been on my A list for a long time. Well, here's the thing. The quality of knowledge that you obtain in regards to specifically like the ISOs and the utility-based ones, you have far superseded quite a few of us when it comes to, you know, understanding what ones to specifically get into. But what trumps that is all the garbage meme coins you got into on Bitmart. Ah, Max, what are you doing? No, I'm kidding, brother. All right, it's cool. Now I'm into a bunch of crap too. What do we call Bitmart, my friend? Mart, right? So yeah, I'm guilty. I own a lot of crap on Bitmart too. I think Cushy Boy probably has us all trumped on that one. But you do well, man. You did well. Was it Lovely Enu? You said that for a while, and like you did very, very well on that. But I mean, who would have known? Like I would have known that. I mean, just we all have. Again, it's part of a crypto journey. For me, I was just like, I don't know if I want to jump into some of that stuff. But you guys are very knowledgeable, especially you, Mike. You definitely have researched. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't know about a lot of these, to be honest. So thanks, man. All right, let's go further down. I mean, obviously, I knew about, for instance, like XRP and some of these other ones and whatnot, but I didn't know all the stuff about it. You know what I mean? All right, so let's get further down into it. Let's see here. Brian Dowie states, not sure if it was good. Volt Army was out full force yesterday. They were out full force. Larry had a really great show. I think he had, like, for instance, 68, 69 concurrence. That was really cool. That's all right. All right. I'm not in the Volt Army. Have a bag. It was cheap. I have Volt too. I'm looking to, for instance, probably get a second bag of it and so on. It's just, I look at it, they have a very active community. I mean, that's the main thing. Utility or not, they have how about this? Can we all agree on this? They have a way more active community compared to Doge and Mars. And in the bull market, while a lot of people are focusing on all these other meme coins and so on, Doge and Mars did pretty darn well. What was it, late 2021 or going into early 2022, while everybody was focusing on a lot of the other things and so on. I think there's something to be said there. You can literally have a powerful community that could be just enough to get you over the hump of lacking in utility. That is not me taking any. I know people from Vote will say, we have utility and so on, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it is what it is. I mean, there's no denying that community. If anything, we've embraced it. All right, so let's read this. I got a few of them, Ether worth of trash Moonbay coins. One of them, $200 to $300 in investments, may way outperform some of that I have large enough. That's a good point, because if anything, like you mentioned, all you need is just like maybe not even a handful of those to just blast off, right? All right, let me get into the last particular part of our coverage, and then before we wrap up the show, I want to share this real quick in regards to Hedera's H-Bar. Well, let me highlight that particular part that we're at. Here we go. So if anything, look at this, and shout out to Hedera, right? This comes straight from them. Special thanks to Julie Learning for joining Zenobia Zeg on the podcast to discuss, listen to this, Pan Exchange, which is the Hedera-enabled ESG market platform empowering farmers. I know it sounds crazy. Hear me out. Farmers by bringing accessibility, simplicity, and equity to the carbon credit industry using DLT. Now, I want to state this, right? If you've been listening to a lot of you guys obviously listen to Richard Common Sense Crypto. He talks about this whole carbon credit thing quite a bit. But now you're seeing this pop up more and more, right? Now we know, for instance, when it comes to Hedera's H-Bar and especially Hashgraph and so on, they are like literally the greenest of the green when it comes to, blockchains and so on. Yeah, I get it. Hashgraph is not technically blockchain, but hear me out. Here's the thing specifically, right? Pan Exchange on Hedera. Key points. Pan Exchange is simplifying the access to the carbon credit market. Yeah, we're actually talking about this. Protecting and empowering farmers who are today, in many cases, subject to exploitative and prohibitively expensive conditions within the industry. We see, for instance, the crap that's going on with the bird flu. Eggs are like, $8 a dozen, you name it. Crazy stuff. On top of it, Hedera's DLT is acting as the missing link between the carbon credit generation program and the Pan Exchange trading platform, providing real-time info and verifiability in a trustless manner. And last but not least, the decision to use Hedera was largely based on the provability unmatched energy efficiency of the network and is currently working with DLA Piper on that solution. So that's kind of interesting to see this whole thing with the farming industry. Hedera covers everything. All right. One more before we kick it back into comments to close things out, and it is in regards to Jasmy. That's what's going to close out the show. Let me jump specifically into this. Here it is. Jasmy, a potential powerhouse often ignored by the masses. Let's face it, it was, and it may very well still be. I think more and more people are getting tuned into this. Why? Because word of mouth, right? Especially when it comes to community-driven news. It says, I am bullish, as in this person, on Jasmy and the unique nature of its blockchain hybrid technology. Is this where the utility kicks in? Well, let's get into it. Everything you need to know if you weren't aware of just that, Jasmy. So we'll break down a little bit of this. We did do a deep dive, but here's a quick gist of it. The scope of this thread will include, but not be limited to, the introduction of Jasmy and its goals, benefits, and limitations, tokenomics in brief. We won't do the tokenomics and all that because anything, we already outlined that in our particular deep dive video. But I'm going to show you guys a few key things here. If you're wondering about Jasmy, if this is your first time you were hearing about it, it is referred to as the Bitcoin of Japan. Now, why are we stating that? Why does it matter? Well, again, we'll get into that. So Jasmy is an Internet of Things or Internet of Trust company that aims to revolutionize data security and privacy through the use of decentralized blockchain technology. Sounds like a common thing, a common, a lot of different ones say that. However, listen to this: creating a data democracy where users can control and access their own information. This kind of is where they get the statement of they're the Bitcoin of Japan. Think about that. But you can't quite 100% say it's just like Bitcoin because it's not. Why? The devs show their faces. It's not quite like, the Satoshi white paper and so on. So getting more into it, if you're wondering about what they aim to do, here's what it is. They aim to combat centralization and empower individuals to make the most of their personal data as a unique asset. So large corporations control their access to the internet, and these organizations collect data and sell it through centralized systems. It's tokenizing data. If you want to know the quick gist of it, there you go. Boom. Tokenization of data. On top of that, they store people's data, including behavior and history, free of charge. Who do we know who capitalizes on that more than anybody out there? Yeah, you guys know who it is. It's Google. That is significant in itself. Data is worth a tremendous amount of money. So what kind of opportunity are we looking for the likes of Jasmy? Let's get a little bit more into it. So this personal data may be exposed to cyber attacks, system glitches, or even poor human management. As we know, Jasmy Coin is the brainchild of the Jasmy Corporation, led by former executives, including President, Sony executives, I should say, including President Kunitake Ando. Now, they have also ties to Sony Entertainment of America. Now, in regards to Jasmy, they are the first of Japan's legally compliant cryptocurrencies, and that's one of the key takeaways here. Traded on a Japanese exchange, but what's currently going on, only people outside of Japan technically can do the pairings, right? Jasmy / USDT, right, on KuCoin. Jasmy / USDC, Circles USDC, KuCoin, other particular platforms. And here's the key takeaway. If you live in Japan, you have those pairings taken away because they did a ban last year on stable coins, right? In light of the whole thing that happened basically with the collapse of Terra Luna. They're trying to protect its citizens from disaster, if you will. And they've been pretty consistent about that, especially with what happened with FTX Japan, right? Saying that, those guys are going to get refunds and so on. Now, I want to get further down into this. If you're wondering about Jasmy being one of the safest crypto investments, I can't give you official financial advice, but look at this just real quick. I know we're wrapping up the show. Jasmy supposedly is one of the most secure crypto investments. Hear this person out. Jasmy underwent a thorough evaluation analysis, being officially listed and treated as stocks or securities. This This is kind of murky water, you test the waters here. The company operates in compliance with Japanese market regulations and subject to periodic inspections. That part is good because if anything, you get even regulatory clarity in the likes of Japan. That's a good thing. They are just as strict, if not more strict than we are here in the United States. I'm not saying that's good, not saying that's bad, but they are very, very strict on regulation over there. Now, any violations that put investors at risk will result in accountability by Japanese law, which can revoke the exchange license. This is where things could go from one extreme to the other when it comes to the likes of Jasmy, and why people have, not everybody just jumps right into it, right? They look at like, well, if things get worse for Jasmy, then that price can tank. But also some people look at these particular price levels, like these entry points, that risk to reward ratio is so significant, right? I'm cool with the amount I put into it. Put what you can afford to potentially lose, right? So it says any violation, I'm sorry, the token's initial popularity exploded. I remember when that happened, especially with the likes of KuCoin, because it was listed at least, I think, 50% APY. But listen to this, it exploded, but its long-term growth may not be sustainable. It's not sustainable when you hear some of these particular things about the accountability to Japanese law and regulations. Caution is advised. Positive note, Jasmy aims to end media's giants' control over what? Private data in the expanding IoT market. That in itself is the utility. It offers users the unique opportunity to manage their data outside centralized networks, addressing privacy and security concerns. Who's doing that as we speak? ALBT. You could draw your own connection. What kind of value is there? Now, me comparing the likes of Jasmy and the ALBT, I'm going to be honest. For the record, as it stands, there is no comparison. Now, you're going to pick one, you're going to go with ALBT, but is there value in its utility, especially for the likes of Japan and you as an investment? Yeah, there definitely is. Not financial advice, but I look at, again, from that particular risk to reward ratio. This is well under a penny. It's at 0.005.5, right? So basically speaking, you put in, I think it's like $550, and you get basically what? 100,000 of these. Okay. That's something to be said, because we know that this was as high as close to $5 at one point. Like I always mentioned before, it was at $4 at 1/4 of that. That's $100,000 based on that amount. If you held that amount. All right. We already know about the tokenomics and so on. Don't want to get into that. I want to show you guys a few more particular things. And that is down here. There was controversy that happened a while back in regards to this thing about Cambridge Analytics. So there's an exploitation of Facebook data and so on. Jasmy's blockchain platform aimed to restore and secure personal data sovereignty by combining Internet of Things, or some people call it Internet of Trust, and blockchain technology. But listen to this, guys. Unlike centralized systems that collect, analyze, and profit from data, Jasmy's decentralized blockchain safeguards quote-unquote user data. And again, this is why I'm stating, if anything, the significance in regards to that. If you're safeguarding user data, you have to compare this particular platform to other platforms that do that. Secure data stores and so on. We talked about Filecoin. Was I planning on a segue from Filecoin to this? No, not really. But I look at it from the perspective of, if we do very well get the pairings, which I think that's inevitable, this coming summer, that in itself should cause Jasmy's price to go way up on the upside. Combine that with a firm understanding of their utility, what they're trying to solve with quote unquote the safeguarding of user data, and it being a hybrid platform aimed at democratizing data. Again, draw your own conclusion about the other ones out there, whether it's Filecoin with their particular storage solutions and so on. There is a tremendous amount of value when it comes to data storing solutions. And with that said, research more about Jasmy and decide for yourself if it's something you're willing to take that chance on. I'm not trying to convince you to do anything, but at the same time, I do like to share with the community what I feel as though is a great risk to reward ratio. For me, Jasmy is like at least in my top 10 when it comes to risk to reward ratios. So I'm not going to get into all the rest of this here, but those are my key takeaways. Understanding the main key thing here, and that is there is a sense of profit from data. We already know that with Google. And on top of that, understanding that they have already announced in Japan the unbanning of US-based or foreign-based as well stable coins, USDT from Tether, USDC from Circle. That in itself, I don't know how much that's going to be worth, but we should see an influx of volume start happening from the likes of the Japanese citizens and so on, because if anything, they're going to come into crypto. And if this is labeled, I should say, if it is the Bitcoin Japan, then that's something to be said. So with that said, guys, let me get back into the particular comments before we wrap up the show. And let's see where we're at. Let's see here. Brian Dowie says H-Bar on fire. Someone just, what's up, dude? Good to have you here. Can you store Jasmy on the ledger? That part I don't know. Maybe somebody can answer that. Brian Dowie states Jasmy is ERC20, so I think you should be able to store on ledger, but not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. You might want to verify that. Do some more of your own research in regards to that. So it's Jasmy LBT's little brother. I don't know if I go that far. Cousins, I don't know about that. Yeah, I just try to make a kind of like put it in layman's terms, if you will. Hoover the Flood Killer says, okay, breakfast and then nap. Thanks, guys. See you in the next one on Your Awake. Yeah, we're approaching the 3-hour mark. This is kind of like extended coverage, to say the least. Crypto Jasmy says, Jasmy all the way with the moon and even to Saturn, man. All right, Crypto McDizzle, breaking. Bitcoin is now worth more than every bank in the world by market capitalization. Seen this statement, opinion. I don't have an opinion yet, man. You know why? Because we're literally like 3 hours into the show, and my pop, he's getting pretty hungry. I gotta get him something to eat. He's been patiently waiting for me. He's 88 years old. The guy's got to eat anyway. Crypto Channel, the $9.99 super chat, and just for you, my friend, I'll do it in the Klaus Schwab, the $9.99 super chat. Danke, mein Crypto Channel. You will own no $9.99, and you will be happy. All right. So with that said, everybody, glad to cover the likes of the Liechtenstein Exchange, Quant, XRP, XLM, XTC, ALBT, H-Bar, Casper, the ISO 222s that we lock and load, and even the likes of Jasmy. This is the crypto show you've been looking for. And with that said, Steve the Canadian, Money of Brian Dowie, Chainlink fans and H-Bar fans, this is the crypto show you've been looking for. Auf Wiedersehen, danke. We'll see you on the next one. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.